I had a vision in my sleep last night, a vision of a wondrous website where I could curate pictures, perhaps even sell, maybe even blog about discarded cracker and cookie tins. But then I woke up from this vision and realized that I have no idea how to make a website. But that's okay, because that's where Squarespace comes to save the day. I can create that blog and make sure it looks nice thanks to the suite of tools and templates at my disposal with Squarespace. I can track performance with a whole host of analytical tools. The homies at Squarespace also got me on domains too. They've helped architects, museums, furniture makers, pubs, lawyers, and more turn their ideas into a reality with Squarespace. They can all make the website of their dreams, and if they need help, they've got Squarespace's 24/7 award-winning customer support to hit up. Go to squarespace.com/bomb for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use the offer code BOMBCAST to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Hey, everybody, it's Tuesday, January 10th, 2023. We're quickly proceeding through the month of January. My month is almost halfway to being done, and I haven't done squat, but it's okay. Neither of you probably. Throw those New Year's resolutions in the trash. Just throw them in the garbage now. Let's get ahead of it. Let's just get ahead of it. You're not going to read the books. You know what? New Year's regressions. That's right, folks. Let's dive deep. And what we're going to dive deep into is another episode of the Giant Bombcast. I'm your host, Jan Ochoa. Joining me, as always, the co-captain of the ship. He's in the gutter with me, Jeff Grubb.
I'm sick, but I'm here, and I'm already. You know what? I want to talk about something. I checked it. The Bezos phone that he sent me, the Amazon Fire phone, still has internet service. It's been probably going to be 10 years here pretty soon. I never use it for anything. So if anyone has any good ideas for illicit uses of a phone that Jeff Bezos is apparently still paying for, let me know. I'm here. I'm open.
You should put it like on some sort of flotation device in the ocean.
Yeah.
See where it goes.
We could probably rig up a solar thing. Yeah, let's do it. Jane, get on that.
Good Life of Pi sitch. He's standing by the dumpster just in case you need help getting out. Jason A. Stryder.
I'm a tall guy. I can reach down, grab you, pull you out from the gutter if you need it. I'm here.
There we go. And you got to wait till Thursday when he'll back up the dump truck. Jeff BiYEEEE.
Hey, what's up? You're right, Jan. Fuck January.
Exactly.
January is stupid.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I hate January.
Yeah.
We don't need it. Thank you.
I'm a fan of the Burr months, Burr months are like the good ones, because I'm like, cool, things are like ramping up but slowing down at the same time.
Is February a Burr month?
Oh shit.
No.
Oh
no.
Shit. No.
Hello?
We have to entertain it now. We have to entertain it.
Dude, it's February and January are the airy months.
Yeah,
what
but
are we
there's
talking
a Burr
about?
in the middle of it. It's
a brew. It's brew. There's a brew in it.
February.
Everyone's mispronouncing it. It's February.
Permanent slash says February.
June. July. Okay. All right.
I'm a fan of the one-syllable months. Straight to the point. None of that bullshit.
That's right. It's two of them? May, June.
March.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it depends on how you... It depends on how you say March. You add the ch to it, and you add like an additional syllable, and you'll confuse a child as they're trying to figure out syllables by clapping.
Swag to say it that way. I could never say it that way.
March. See, that works. Sorry, I didn't mean to wake up the dog. Have I introduced everyone? I have introduced everyone. What's happening, everybody? It's another week. It's another day. Grubb, you sure you're okay?
I'm doing great. But you're right though. I was like, I got a birthday in March. What's the point of eating healthy now? Like that's what it was like. That's what January is. It's like I'm imagining a meal that I'm gonna have I'm gonna eat cake and stuff, and that's in March. So just imagining that's like, I'm giving up on getting in shape. Never mind. It's not going to happen.
Don't we have the same birth date, Grubb?
March 22nd. That's right. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh, well, we have to celebrate this year. We have to celebrate this year.
Wait,
I don't know what
and
we'll
I'm
do.
the 24th.
Nice.
Whoa, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, little
That's
March
crazy.
boys.
Yeah, we're a bunch of March boys, you know?
Happy birthday, Giant Bomb. There we go.
There we go. Oh gosh, now I got to start party planning for the three of you. Now we're just gonna have
Get
one
together
joint
the party
celebration.
committee. Let's go.
Yeah, it's gonna be me. I'll get Mike Minotti on the line and Griffin.
No, I'm not talking to him anymore.
All right, I won't get Mike Minotti on the line. I'll get.
Yeah, he said Sonic 1 is better than Super Mario World, and I can't.
God.
What is wrong with him?
Just get an apartment together and end it already, okay?
Yeah,
just have them rent out the bottom room already. Jeez,
they'll never find the body.
Before we talk about games, gentlemen, I want to talk about a life-changing experience I had, and this isn't me joining a cult this week. I went to the most premium automobile event. All the hot kids are talking about it. You know, some people might even have a podcast about it. Nope. Not F1. I'm talking about Monster Jam because I'm all in now. I bought a Gravedigger shirt.
He's got a shirt on.
Oh, you do have an awful lot of monster truck merch now.
Sorry,
Jan.
my eyes started tearing up. My moisturizer got in my eyes.
What happened to you at the dirt car thing?
You had your eyes opened, like spiritual.
I did not know that it is. I still don't know if it's a work. Still don't know if it's a shoot. But it's a league. It's a like these cars are competing each event.
Sure.
And it definitely feels like the odds are stacked in a certain way to favor the Undertaker of trucks, Gravedigger.
Sure.
But yo, I saw a truck dressed up as a shark race a truck dressed up as a bull, and then like half an hour later there was that shark truck rode up like a little ramp and did a backflip. It was sick as hell. And then Gravedigger went and did a backflip, landed on his side, and then spun up both wheels, did like a weird sideways donut, and then wound up back on all right side up.
How do they do that?
I don't know.
That's a trick. You could do that. You could do that with like the remote control RC cars. It's the same. I would imagine it's the same.
Yeah, I accidentally did that in my 1980 Chevy Malibu once.
What?
I mean, well, I probably did. I wouldn't. Yeah, I mean,
okay.
20 years ago, 25 years ago, who knows? That was a parking lot. Lots of stuff happened in that parking lot.
You know, the thing that no one ever tells you about like going to a Monster Jam or like a monster truck event is how fucking loud it is.
Oh, I'll bet.
Oh, what'd you expect, dude? What'd you expect?
I don't know. I just thought big cars. I'm like, all right, cool. But yo, they were selling. I was so close to buying them. I bought too much merch as is. They were selling protective headphones or earphones that were just giant tires. I'm like, fuck, I need that. I need
so many people want to fuck cars over there, man. It's crazy.
And then, you know, we're going through a lot of rain here in the Bay Area currently. And then halfway through the show, it's at an outdoor stadium. The rain starts falling, and then I think that's when it like clicks because all the mud starts flying. And then
gross.
After every single truck backflip, I high-fived every single person around me. And I only went with one friend. And I just felt in tune. I was like, oh my God, this is how we heal everyone.
Were you were firing on all cylinders, you would say?
Yes, and then some. I will say I was disappointed with they made a big spectacle at this one truck called the Jester. He even had his own theme music. It was like a carnival theme. Barely did shit. And you hate to see it when a performer loses their love of the game. It was really unfortunate. Really unfortunate.
What was the revelry like? Was it mostly just everyone drinking Bud Lights, or where someone passed around the blunt? Like, what was going on?
No bleezies. Surprisingly
was
enough.
there like a family atmosphere?
It was a very family-friendly event.
Very cool. All right.
Actually, there were hella kids, and then I felt like, should I actually be here? There's too many children. And meanwhile, me and my friend are trying to get smizzy and yell about all these giant trucks. But it's so funny.
Can't even yell. It's too loud, right? Like,
Couldn't even yell.
What's the point? Yeah.
Couldn't even yell. But yeah, they had 3 separate events, and people are scoring these. I don't know who's scoring them. I must have missed it. I went to the bathroom for a second, but you could still hear these trucks full volume as you're using the bathroom. Oh man,
did it help or hurt the mechanical functions of going to the bathroom, having that loud sound?
I think my chest was already reverberating, that it kind of just naturally shook everything out.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was wondering. Sounds good. That sounds great, actually.
That's how they should advertise.
Yeah.
No shaking needed. Come Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
We'll shake it for you.
And then, lo and behold, I find out my best friend that I've known since the 1st grade, that I feel like I've told my most intimate secrets to, is now telling me that he has all this intimate knowledge of Monster Jam lore, and that apparently there's lore. Apparently, at a separate event that he also stays on top of, because he stays on top of the Monster Jam stats, that a separate driver of a gravedigger truck is the daughter of the current main gravedigger driver.
Nepotism.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly, nepotism.
Insidious.
So apparently
It
the
infects
other
all businesses.
apparently the other drivers of gravedigger, if it's not the main dude, it's some of his children, because it's a family thing at this point. Fast and Furious is right, guys. It is all about family.
It's all about family.
I have something to admit, and I think now's the time to do it, because there won't be another point where we talk about monster trucks.
That's just not true.
It's my obsession this year. Let's do it.
All right, I'm into it. I'll support you there. When I was a kid, I did not realize, I don't know why I thought this, but I was convinced at some point in my very early childhood that these trucks were driving themselves. I don't think
that's the craziest thing.
No,
They
that's
treat
not
them like
the case.
characters.
Inside them. I was like, Gravedigger's alive? It's got a soul? It can die? It's a person in there? And I
It
was
can
like,
bleed.
that's how it works. You know?
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I thought the world used to be black and white because of TV.
You're not that old.
When I was young, there was black and white TVs, like there was black and white shows that I would watch, and my brother would be like, "Yeah, the world used to be black and white," and I was like, "Oh, okay, all right, that makes sense to me."
That's funny.
okay.
I thought you yourself, a little
No.
grubblet,
I
was
mean, like, if I was to grab it, like, no, I have the world's color and the TV's black and white. That's just the TV. But like,
Could
I'm
be a
like,
trick.
why are these shows are color? These are wearing black and white. That's just
That's
stupid.
some-
And they're
that's
like, well,
some
no, that's the
giver
way the
shit
world used
right
to be.
there. That's some giver bullshit right there.
Mhm.
Is what
I
that
was very young. I was very, very young.
I also want to take this opportunity to say that I was really skeptical walking up to the event, and I almost didn't want to go because it was raining and I didn't want to get wet and everything. But after the first initial like loop of the trucks driving around each other, I was immediately hooked. And then I thought back about the big robot company I used to work for, and how they wanted to be the new Monster Jam, but with fighting robots. And then I laughed to myself thinking, there's no fucking way y'all were ever going to fucking do this with modern technology. This works. The other thing, there was one female monster truck driver, and her name, I don't know if it's her stage name or not. Her name was Kayla Blood.
His name.
Whoa.
Great name. And there were, there's a lot of little children in the audience. There was one little girl, like a couple rows behind us, that any time Kayla Blood went up to compete or whatever, this little girl in her pink headphones and like unicorn hoodie just went, Kayla Blood! And I'm like, all right, representation matters here, baby.
Is there a Sami Zayn of trucks?
There was no ska-related trucks, unfortunately.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Any truck that was like repping the Canadian flag or anything like that? Or
No. There was one dressed up as a bull. There was another one dressed up as a...
Spanish.
There was a Bakugan branded monster truck.
That's cool.
Okay, all right.
I'm back in.
And it was just straight up Bakugan Dragonoid. And then the whole time I was very confused as to what's going on. Meanwhile, I look at my friend and he just has a very serious face. Like, yeah, it's Bakugan Dragonoid, man.
Yeah, of course.
He's serious, dude. Come on.
How has it been around for like 20 years? Actually, like it probably is pretty old at this point.
I don't actually know how old Bakugan
Good at you,
is.
Jan. I'm gonna have to Google this myself. I'm into it. This is the whole I'm going down today
Well,
during this
I've
episode.
joined you guys, and I'm now the older part of the staff.
That's right.
Exactly. I'm part of
Welcome.
the elder statesman, you know? Like, I'm a father-ish, kinda.
Good. Yeah, you got the daughter cam on sometimes there with Scout.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there we go.
Doggy's daddy. Everyone knows
There
that.
we go. There we go.
You know, the Bakugan stuff, that's pretty neat. I respect that. I do like how a lot of the weeb sort of stuff has infiltrated these industries in a big way.
Mhm.
Have you heard about the football player on Jeff Grubb's Detroit Lions,
Go on.
Which?
who like Jamaal Williams, who
Jamaal
introduced
Williams.
himself with like a Naruto thing?
Yes, he's the first swag Kazekage of the hidden village of the D, being Detroit. So he rules. He always wears his Naruto headband in every post game interview. He's somehow getting away with having pads on his legs that have the One Piece logo on one side and I think a Naruto symbol on the other. And usually guys get fined if they try to pull something like that off. But they're like, no, he's the swag Kazekage. So we got to let him get away with it. He rules. In every interview, he's just like, I want to go and play Pokemon. It's the best.
He seems amazing. I love.
He's got 17 touchdowns. The end of the year was 17 touchdowns. I
He's
think
having
that's
like an amazing, right?
He broke Barry Sanders' record. Yes, he is incredible at running the football, and he's a huge nerd, and I love him. And boy, that was a good football game.
Yeah.
Woo! Eat shit, Packers. Woo!
Yeah,
Oh, man.
fuck Aaron Rodgers, right? Yeah.
Oh god, yes, man.
Yeah. I like that he specifically calls himself the Kazekage and not the Hokage.
Yeah, what's the difference?
The I guess prefix just denotes you're from a different village. We got to get Jamaal Williams.
Yeah, let's get Jamaal on this shit.
I feel like this is not an impossible task.
Oh no,
right?
No. I mean, there's a One Piece game coming out. Maybe I'll just like DM him and try and get him for the quick look or something.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
I know nothing about One Piece, so he might drop some knowledge on me. I just know that One Piece is the name of the treasure on the Grand Line.
He's gonna be very upset with you. He's gonna educate you.
Yeah, I can't wait.
He just seems like he's having so much fun, and I love that.
Yes. More professional athletes should embrace the anime that dwells within them.
I mean, clearly it's working for Jamaal. So I think I would expect a lot more to be like, well, you know what? He's letting his anime freak flag fly. So will I.
Yes. Embolden the youth to let their anime freak flag fly.
That's right.
How about we talk about some video games?
Yo.
Oops.
There we go.
Video games have come out. Well, that's not true, actually, because the first video game I looked at when I saw this list was Stryder 2014.
Yeah.
Jeff Grubb, why?
We do a game club thing on our Game Mess thing, and they I don't know. I'm really not that much involved with it. I just know they like vote on a game, and suddenly we're playing something, and I'm like, I like Stryder. I might partake in this one.
One second, Jeff Grubb. Jeff Grubb, sorry for cutting you off. Stryder 2014. This is out of your hands. This is something that gets chosen for you.
Yeah, and I just kind of showed up for this one. It's like I will partake with the community on this one. It is a Metroidvania, and I've come to realize something. Metroidvanias are like cheating because you could just basically make anything a Metroidvania, and the hook of here's a cool character who could do cool stuff, and then you just beat a boss, so you get another cool thing, and then if you play like another 10, 15 minutes, man, we're probably gonna give you another cool thing. Boy, that just keeps me coming back so much, no matter what. And with Stryder, it's like, and on top of that, it is just a super cool character. And no matter how fast you hit the button, he'll attack as fast as you can hit the button. And he's got the cool pose with the the scarf and everything blowing in the wind. So it's like everything's moving in this game's favor. It actually reminds me a ton of Metroid Dread. But yeah, I'm nearly done with it now. It's not a very long game, but it's a Metroidvania. It's about as long as any of those are. And I just like, man, how did I miss this when it came out? I don't remember anyone talking about it, but
Is this still 2D or is this? Do they move to 3D for this?
Yeah, this is a 2D 2014 Metroidvania made by Double Helix.
That sounds right.
It's the company that went on to do Killer Instinct before, or at least the first season of Killer Instinct, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they got purchased by Amazon. But the game is it's actually surprisingly good. It's also, you could feel it was made on a budget, and somehow like really stands above that because they're using the component parts as efficiently as they possibly can. Stryder, very cool. Let's just make them look cool, and every motion make it like everything you do look cool. So when you jump, his legs are kind of splayed out, and he does the side flip over almost every time. And every time
Scarf
I'm like,
fluttering in the wind. Hell yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, man, this guy rules. This just looks awesome. And I'm like that. Okay, they're using that efficiently. And then the Metroidvania stuff. I got the double jump eventually. Of course, it's like getting a double jump in games. Turns out it's 2023. Oh my god, it's almost 2013.
Still powerful.
It still rules. It still is just awesome. So yeah, I'm surprised I missed it. Really glad I went back and played it.
Nice. I remember being super surprised as a child finding out that there were actual Stryder video games, and he wasn't just a character in Capcom versus whoever.
Turns out, yep.
And I was like, wow, this dude is hella sick. Look at this scarf.
I forgot all about this thing. I played this, man.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Is there a BirdKAWlar review somewhere I could read?
Was it important?
Probably not. What's that?
Was it important?
Well, if I didn't remember it this quickly, I would say it falls into
it should be important, but I think it's probably not going to make the scale.
But you did react positively when you remembered it.
Yeah, or was the positivity just like the fact that, like, hey, you remembered a thing?
Yeah,
like,
I'm neurons are firing. Hooray.
Yeah. Okay. It could just be like that kind of reward. It's unclear. I'll have to watch gameplay video.
What's the story of Stryder? What's Stryder's deal?
Oh, no, don't do that. That's bad.
No, don't do that.
Well, at least this 2014 game, the story is real inane, and they do this thing where the evil characters will yell at you during the game from like loudspeakers, and instead of just like having that happen audibly, they have actual like lower thirds pop up with their static faces showing you what they're saying, and it's all just the dumbest drivel and actually kind of annoying because it's blocking 1/3 of the screen. So you're like, okay. Kind of want you to just stop that entirely, and they'll loop it eventually, like some mad Russian guy, and I'm like, okay, this is cute the first time. Really wasn't even cute the first time, but then he starts repeating himself. I'm like, okay, I'm actually done with this.
Okay. Yeah, you've piqued my curiosity. I might circle back to 2014. Perhaps.
There are a lot of good Metroidvania games out there, but it's like if you if one vibes with you aesthetically and sort of like you pick it up and it feels good. That's when I'm finding, okay, I'm actually going to play through this entire Metroidvania. I think this is one that really passes those tests really easily.
Yeah, I'm looking at the logo for the 2014 one at least, and it just screams Tekken adjacent. And
wait, what screams Tekken adjacent? Sorry,
the Stryder 2014 logo.
Oh, sure, yeah. There's a lot going on in this game that like reminds me of other things for sure.
Nice.
A lot of angles. Yeah.
Yep. Speaking about revisiting an old thing, I also would like to take this opportunity to apologize to a voicemail dump truck caller that called in saying that they cried because they finished Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion. I finally reached the end of that game, and I get it. You know what? I'm sorry. I apologize for thinking that it was a little silly to cry at Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion.
Did you cry?
I didn't cry because I just can only
because you're dead inside.
Oh yeah, that for sure.
You're a man.
Yeah.
You're a man.
You know, 2023. This is my heel turn era. This year, I'm just gonna be a big heel and not cry at things and just be. I can't do that. I can't do it.
You model everything up.
I don't
rot me from the inside out.
But you know what? It's a very solid game. It's not really wasting your time. And I think that is a problem with some action RPGs or JRPGs that have started to come out. There's a lot of meandering and a lot of time that's wasted, and sometimes you just like to get straight to the point. I feel like part of that's probably due to the fact that this was originally a PSP game, and you can only stick so much data on that good old UMD. But let me tell you, by the end of this game, my little slot machine wave dream drive distance drop thingy going off in the corner, constantly spitting out summons, constantly spitting out abilities like, yo, you want to do this right now? No? Okay, cool. Yo, you want to do this right now though? Cool. All right, no, fine. Yo, you know what? What about if you didn't have to use any MP, any AP. You're just standing there, big tough Zach man. It was great.
Who doesn't cry?
Yeah. Also, not that long comparative to other JRPGs. I think I clocked in like 10-ish hours, but I think I fell asleep during one of those hours with my Steam Deck on me. Not indicative of the game.
One does. Yeah.
But, you know, as you would fall asleep with your phone or your Switch falling on you, that was me and my Steam Deck.
So you got a concussion? Okay.
Yeah. Scout is now afraid of the Steam Deck and barks at it constantly.
Oh.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Mr. Jason, have you been playing anything, sir?
Hell no, actually. I'm taking a break right now.
Hell yeah.
No, it's a good time of year to do that. Nothing came out.
I've fired up a couple things, a couple fighting games, River City Girls 2.
Wait, can I take your temperature on River City Girls 2? Because I was being bothered by the frame rate thing. I don't know if they fixed that yet. First, is it running at 60 frames per second yet?
I don't think so. I don't know.
It feels a bit like laggy, right? I mean, you know, latency when you're doing input, right?
Yeah, it doesn't feel great, and I couldn't quite put my finger on it. Yeah, so
we mentioned that during the quick look. I had Mike on for that, and we were like, "Hey, this feels weird." And then later that day, it was all these reports like the game is like actually rendering. It's at 30 frames per second. And it's like there's something really wrong there. And the developer's like, "Yeah, we will fix that." And I still don't know if they have, but it seems like there's a solid game there. But it really does need to feel good before it's gonna be something worth playing, I think.
Yep. You know
I was kind of scraping at the bottom of the barrel for games this week, so I understand, sir. Thing that I haven't necessarily been playing, but I wanted to give it a shout out because it finally released. If I can type the title as I talk, is Luck Be a Landlord. This is it's kind of the epitome of me, y'all. This is it is imagine if you will. Super auto pets, kind of, and a slot machine.
Okay.
And each turn, you're spinning the slots, baby, to make sure you can pay rent. And then there's a lot of different synergies with the different tiles. Oh man, I feel targeted with this game. I'm not 100% sure it's real, but it's real. It's out now, very very cheap.
It was in early access before this, right?
Yes, it was in early access for quite a while. Maybe I'll do a quick look. Maybe I'll do a quick
I remember
look.
you talking about this game. Yes. I'm curious. I'll check it out.
It's a little confusing at first. You run into the thing where you similar, I guess, to the Super Auto Pets or even Vampire Survivors, where it's like, oh, it's going to take you a couple rounds or a couple of games to figure out the different synergies with how the different abilities or the tiles play together. But it goes by super quick. And yeah, it's a game with a slot machine. So automatic 10 out of 10 out of me, baby.
There you go.
Jeff BirdKAWlar.
Hey.
Is this Vampire Survivors thing you?
Oh, yeah, it's me.
All right. How did you break through?
All right, so everyone knows I'm friends with a bunch of assholes, right? A bunch of idiot video game people.
Don't talk about us like that on air. Come on,
no. I'm talking about outside of like the immediate Giant Bomb family. I'm talking about my personal friends who I've been friends with for 30 years or so, where it's the Call of Duty weirdos.
Okay.
They got into Marvel Snap for a little bit.
Nice.
Which was, I thought you'd like to hear. And then I didn't realize Vampire Survivors was like just on mobile. I just didn't know. So I'm like, oh, you guys should just try that. And it got like 3 out of the 8 of them instantly.
That's a good hit
hooked.
rate.
Wow.
Right? Almost 50% were just like, oh my God, what is this? Right? Like, because I think it takes maybe 1 or 2 rounds of that game before you're like, holy shit, I get it. Right? And then I made them all get it on like consoles wherever they could get it. And now I've just got like a flock of idiots playing this game.
Yes.
Taking, like, oh, did you know this? What's your favorite weapon? Like, oh, garlic. Oh, we're all the garlic boys now. What's up?
Did you show them our selection for the best Vampire Survivor weapons of the year? Do they have opinions on that yet?
No, I feel like that I should bring that up at some point to really, really just be like, get them in the palm of my hand there a little bit. But this is a great sign. It's a great sign for the future. There's hope. There's
kids are going to be all right.
the elder millennials are gonna be all right. Okay,
No, we're not.
You
No.
can't teach them to like a whole new game that isn't the shooters.
Yeah,
That's
no.
impressive.
Well, look, they all expanded their horizons in a matter of a weekend. As everyone knows, millennials are now the largest living generation of people. I don't know why that's related, but I felt
No,
like
no,
saying
it's
we're coming
related.
for
It's
y'all.
related. Yeah, that's right.
Look
That's
out!
right.
The cohort is coming for you.
That's right. With our garlic and Pepto Bismol because of too much garlic.
That's right.
The Pepsid AC garlic boys are here to stay for at least another decade. Anyway,
We're adulting now, so look out.
That's
you know,
right.
I it's funny. I still play that game. I play that game so much.
Mhm.
It's insane. It's always a thing to do if I've got a half hour to kill. It's like all I want to do. I don't know what it is. I realized I was a little late to that party, but it most certainly is like the only game that I actively think about when I'm not playing it.
Is
for
it
better or worse?
okay? Are you doing like the same type of run each time, or and just trying to get better? Or
And
is
I
it
don't
just
even
the-
really know
loop?
what I'm doing. I'm just sort of like quick starting it into this one level that I haven't really been able to like. I know you don't like complete levels per se, but you sort of just like you kind of like max them out or whatever. And like I'm just constantly going into and I know there's levels available to me above this one, but it's like the blue hallway one with like the void in the background.
Oh, the
Do you know what I mean?
the
It's kinda narrow.
the really vertical boy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like, I don't know what it is. I love the little freaky sprites. Like, I love how different they are. And I love like the little cutie guys that like hold their own heads and walk. I just love all of it. I love everything about it. I just want to live inside that game. Even though, I don't know.
That sounds bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 30 minutes at a time, man.
It's fun. It's fun. Anyway.
Have you picked up the DLC? Sorry, Grubb, to cut you off.
No, not yet.
That's okay.
I'll get there.
Have you ever killed to death?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I feel like I would know if it's death. Is it just like a Reaper looking dude?
Yeah, I mean,
like-
the guy
he's
that
bigger,
kills
isn't
you
he?
after 30 minutes, you could kill him. I think he keeps coming after that, but
Oh, right.
can kill
Okay.
him.
Yeah. No, I've not
Yeah.
killed death.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll get there.
Yeah, I haven't either. I don't know what to do, but I refuse to look it up.
Oh, I'm not going to look up anything.
Yeah, I think you just gotta keep going. Eventually, you'll get all the best stuff, and it'll
That's
just
the thing.
happen.
That's why that game's so good is because you sort of just like you get pushed in the right direction. I think.
And there's so much to unlock now. It's
Yeah.
compared to when I was first playing it when it was in early access or whatever. It's like it is. There's so much there now. So eventually, you're just gonna get the right build, and you'll melt everything.
Man,
Including
there's
death.
nothing better than just instantly being a god. It's
I mean, it's just. I mean, we talked about this during Game of the Year, but it looks and sounds so good when you are doing that stuff. It is like a living slot machine at a certain point where it's just giving you all the best dings and whistles, and yeah, I think it's probably why it does work on your group of friends, BirdKAWlar, because they're just
they're
like
stupid, right? No,
yeah, exactly. It's just feeding them.
One
those
day
little
they will
pellets
listen
of
to these.
endorphins.
Someone's gonna make a compilation of all the times you've
that's a
you've
good
dissed
idea.
your
We should do
garlic
that.
boys. They're gonna send them a private
Garlic
email
boys.
and be like, "Hey, this is what Jeff says about y'all," and then
Yeah,
they'll
that
be
would-
like, "Huh, he's right. We are like that. We'll be bad
we are
friends, Jeff.
shitty. Game recognized game. We are shitty.
Sick, bro." I don't even think they talk like that.
No.
All right. A game that I've been playing, and it looks like you have also been checking out, Jeff Grubb, is Chained Echoes. This isn't going to be Game of the Week. I just want to say it. Chained Echoes. It felt right. It felt right. Sir, what are your thoughts on this? This is a JRPG, came out late last year, tail end of December, I think.
Yep. I just started it. I got through the intro. I'll say that I really like that opening section of Chekos, as we call it on the streets.
Chekos.
It starts it starts with a little feint where it's like, hey, you're gonna be a kid waking up talking to your mom, and then she slaps you in the face and basically calls you a bitch and says, no, the real game starts now. And it's like, oh wait, and you like wake up and you're on a ship in media res where it's like, hey, there's a fight happening right now. Go upstairs and get into it. And that it's really well done. It's immediately very exciting. It doesn't matter that I don't really necessarily understand all the characters yet, because it's like, well, you'll get there. That stuff will, and when you do get there, or while we wait for you to like fully grasp what's happening, here's a cool lion commander, and here's a dolphin who fights with you. I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. And I like the combat system. There's that the overdrive mechanic where everything you do adds more to the meter. It's really not even adding a meter. There's like a little line on the meter that moves up and down, and you want to stay in the green section, which is like from the middle to about 85% on that meter. If you go above that, there's the red section, and that's overdrive. Everything you do is adding towards you going towards the red, except for there's a little box in the top left, and that little box has a symbol in it that corresponds to one of the many moves your characters can do. Now, not all of your characters can do all of those moves, but at least one of your characters is probably going to be able to do that move that's up in that box. And so when it comes around and you are about to go in overdrive, which if you do, the enemies can really damage you a ton, you need to do that move to move it back in the other direction on the overdrive meter. And it's like, oh, that gives me a good reason to think about using health spells and to use buffs and stuff like that, because I get rewarded if I do that. So it's like, oh, this is a really smart system already right out of the gate, and I'm kind of on board with it in a way that I'm never super JRPG guy, and people should know that. Like, it's like I try to come at it with a fair assessment, but really even like beyond like, oh, just trying to look at this game in a fair way, I am so far enjoying it. Now I just got past the intro, and I'm in the what happens after that, which is like, okay, now we're in a different world with different characters, or a different part of the world with different characters. But based on that intro, I'm pretty curious to see what the rest of the game is like, and I'm pretty happy with it so far. Like, what do you think?
Yeah, oh, hold on. I'm about, let's say, 5 or so hours in, and I'm really, really digging it. It's doing the opposite of, I guess it's similar to Crisis Core in this way, where it doesn't feel like it's wasting my time. And that happens a lot with certain JRPGs. Yeah, where I feel like they're just stretching out as much content as possible. I do like the combat system. The overdrive mechanic is really neat. I'm pretty sure it's this way, unless I have some weird difficulty thing turned on. I don't think there is. But your HP and your TP or tech points or whatever resets each enemy encounter.
It does work that way. At least it's worked during the intro. It was working that way. I noticed that because I was like, oh, that's really nice.
I thought I was going
Quality
insane.
of life.
Yes. Yeah. And that is super welcome, because the thing that can bog down any JRPG experience is just managing your mana and your health, and then just having to do the weird tango of like, well, like I'm really just grinding away, and I need to go back to town to recover my mana, or I need to use a bunch of items to reset my mana. But here it just resets every encounter, and it's great. You're just blasting through enemy encounters. I really like the design of everything as well. I think this is also done by a really, really small team.
Yeah, seems like.
Yeah, and I don't know. I think it's refreshing to have a JRPG in 2023 that doesn't feel like it is a slog to get through.
Right.
I've seen some complaints regarding like the overall writing, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I've heard that it goes upwards to like 50 plus hours, and I'm kind of.
Someone chat mentioned they're about 40 hours in, and it felt like 20, which I think is kind of that's like kind of what I would hope from a game like this. So it could still be pretty big, but if you have enough pacing, like sort of promise in terms of being able to keep people feeling like they're getting linked from one thing to the next, let's say in a chain, then you could totally pull that off, with especially for a game that is trying to look like a Super Nintendo RPG, where
pulls off really well too.
Yeah, the options in that space. You're right. A lot of times they do end up feeling slavish to a certain style of game that was a little bit more of a slog, because that was how they were made back then. I'm enjoying what I'm playing here so far, and really kind of surprised that it's kind of pulling me in. It does seem like every choice that the development team is making is like, let's at least try to surprise the player somewhat, or try to keep them engaged as much as possible, and it's really working so far.
And the last thing I'll say about it, I really, really enjoy it, folks. I intend on doing a quick look, but it's just odd with some JRPGs to do, depending like where to jump in and like where all the mechanics finally start unfolding. I feel like Xenoblade's really broken me, because I think every 10 hours something new is going to be dropped on me. But with this, the leveling mechanic is weird. There's no actual real leveling mechanic. As soon as you beat a boss or you do something significant in the story, you'll get points to upgrade your characters and whatnot. It's really dope. It's really dope. If you're a fan of like Chrono Trigger, I definitely recommend checking this out. It's in that similar vein.
Yeah,
Will you be quiet?
Oh, Scout.
See, this is the heel turn. I'm yelling at a puppy now. It's bad. It's bad.
Oh no.
Yep.
Speaking about talking about the darkness that is coming me from the inside as I make this
They've
gradual
always been there and always will be.
as I make this gradual heel turn. There's been an eternal darkness that has been has a haze over you, Jeff BiYEEEE.
You can tell.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I can see it.
I think it's important to talk about Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem. If you've been watching, we're doing a playthrough on the site called Eternal Darkness at the Heart of My Soul. Jeff Grubb, Dan Reichert, and occasionally Jan Ochoa have been following along, making fun of me, making life miserable while I play through this game that I completed about 20 years ago. I'm sorry, Jason, what were you going to say, bud?
No, I'm glad. I'm happy.
Okay, did you play the game at all, ever?
No.
No. Well, I just wanted to talk about it because we're about to finish. I think we're going to be finishing it up on Wednesday. And there's something about the way this replay has left me that I really want to talk about in a more public forum, because I don't think we'll be able to do it on the show tomorrow because, you know, you guys are assholes. So I feel like...
Seems fair.
You know, I just want to air some sort of conversation about it now, if we could, towards the end of this segment here. Having played it through it again 20 years later, I'm upset that I did it.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
I have such amazingly fond memories of this game.
Oh no, this is where you're going with this. Okay.
And look, I almost don't know how to put it into words because it's a very sort of like complicated relationship that we all have with nostalgia, right? And we all have through looking at the past through rose-colored lenses and whatnot. And I still think the cool stuff in Eternal Darkness is really cool, and I'm glad to have experienced all that stuff. But looking back on this game and playing it through and just sort of pulling out the hair out of my head that I don't even have, and I can't even understand what I must have been going through. Like, I refuse to believe that, you know, what was it, 20 years ago, that 20-year-old me was just like, all these decisions are fine. Like, this is great. Again, a lot's happened in 20 years, right? Let's be clear. And the evolution of games and the language they speak and what we've all sort of like been accustomed to and conditioned has changed. But man, I mean, Grubb, you can speak to it. You know what I've been going through with it.
Yeah, I mean, I loved Eternal Darkness when it came out, but it was, I mean, obviously time and place. When that came out, it was the options, especially on a GameCube, but you know, across gaming, we're not necessarily like, hey, we're going to bring this what presents as a mature telling of this dark story that is going to do something interesting with its structure, where you are continuing this lineage of people all throughout time, and you're going to go to these same places, but as you go to these same places, it's going to be with different characters, and they're going to pick up the work you did that you left off here, and they're going to continue it so that this modern day character that you're ostensibly playing as can then come back around and save the world. It's a cool setup.
Mm-hmm.
And all that stuff still does work.
It does.
It is just wrapped in a game that clearly was still figuring out so much about what an action adventure 3D game was supposed to play like. And I mean, they made some right choices there, and I think like they definitely understood that they were figuring out, and they're like, well, when we have something that works, let's really focus on that. So aiming at limbs and stuff, they make a big deal about it because it's still kind of a cool idea. It doesn't make too much difference to the combat. You're just going to almost always just aim at the head, and they try to play around with that as well. But they know their strong points. It's just there's a lot of stuff missing, especially if you've been playing games consistently since then, where it's like, oh, they had so much left to figure out. So yeah, it's got. I mean, of course, it's tough to go back to that. I think that you also might not have been playing in the most ideal of circumstances, though. That probably didn't.
What are you trying to say?
I just, maybe alone, maybe with a chat and maybe a group of friends that are supportive. That, who knows? Maybe that could have helped. But I'm not here to second guess the second guessers that are always playing along with you.
No, of course. And I was going to bring that up. I think it's all of those factors combined with like playing it once a week for 90 minutes, which just really like,
that was never going to work.
Yeah, it was like pin the tail on the donkey, right? Like spin me around, blindfold me, and then be like, "Hey, do this again." I think that was tough. And I also think, look, there's a lot of like stylistic and I guess functional choices that kind of really just kneecap this game in a super frustrating way, like the forced perspective camera stuff. I think again, I think in much more longer chunks at a time, maybe it would have gone down easier to digest a little better. But man, and now I'd be lying if I said that like the legacy I have in my sort of like mind canon for that game has not changed. I mean, it's things are different now. You know, things are different.
It's always a risk when you go back.
It's a risk.
There are a lot of games that definitely hold up, but those, I mean, like N64 games really struggle to hold up. PlayStation 1 games, I still like going back to many of them, but a lot of them really struggle to hold up. Like early 3D games, early 2D games were the same way. Eternal Darkness was like in that period where you look around, there are a lot of GameCube, Xbox, and PlayStation 2 games that hold up really well. Sure. Eternal Darkness is one where it's like on this borderline of it could have been one of those games, but it was also trying to figure out a lot of new stuff as well. Not in the same way that like Wind Waker was just like this evolution of Ocarina of Time. It's like, no, we could just make the definitive version of Zelda right now, right here and right now, and they did. But it's Eternal Darkness was like, no, we are going to kind of take this next step forward and be this new action 3D adventure game that it still required a lot of finesse over time. And really, games like that were still being figured out well into PS3, PS4 territory. So, sure. Yeah, it was always a game that was a bit before its time, and now you could really, really feel that.
Yeah, if only we talked about that more in depth before doing this, perhaps.
Well, hey, listen, I don't think it's a reason not to go back that we're going to ruin our nostalgia. Of course. Part of that is like, well, it's cool to reassess these things and come away being like, oh shit, we messed up.
Don't forget, my friends, you start digging up the past, all you do is get dirty.
Yeah. You can't move forward if you're always looking back.
Stare long enough into the abyss, and the abyss will eventually come out on Blu-ray. I hope. What are we talking about? I'm sorry.
No.
We're talking about our sanity meters.
That's the segue I was leading to. Thank you.
Excellent.
Jeff. Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, you're welcome.
No game of the week this week. Why? But we thought Jeff Grubb, you put together a little calendar here with some dates about some potential games of the week.
Yeah, I did. So yeah, I was looking at the gamer browser, as I'm wont to do.
Of course.
As you all know that I enjoy spending my time in. And I was looking at it's got a pretty good schedule for the rest of January. I actually was like, oh, what did we miss by not doing this last week? Nothing came out in the last 2 weeks. Really, it's like it goes from the end of December, and the first game is like January 10th, and then it skips ahead until like One Piece Odyssey, on January 13th. So that is really the only big candidate for next week's episode, which I'm thinking, let's do it. Let's make One Piece Odyssey Game of the Week next week.
Hey, I just got to get the Swag Kazekage on the phone, and then potentially it could happen. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I want to make happen. I mean, Jamaal, it's off season now for you. Come on, buddy, you earned it. But I'm gonna grab this and I'm gonna play a little bit of it. And I think you might be able to do the same, right, Jan?
Yes. A quick look should be headed to the audience's way later this week.
Excellent. So I'm looking forward to that, or as much as I can be. I don't know anything about One Piece other than there's 2,000 episodes or something like that of the anime.
It's too much. As a fan
That's
of
too much tuna.
certain animes, you got to just think. I think Luffy D Monkey D Luffy is just bad at his pirate job potentially. Like, you haven't found the treasure yet? Come on, man. 2,000 episodes, wrap this shit up.
That's right. Exactly. Just find that shit. But then next week, or the week after that, excuse me, there is maybe plenty to choose from. I keep forgetting that Fire Emblem Engage comes out January 20th.
Yeah, previews are looking good. I'm pretty hopeful.
Yeah, people are
for
into
this. I like how folks on the internet have been calling it Fire Emblem Colgate because of the main protagonist.
Yes. Got that he looks like Aquafresh to me, but yeah, I get what people are going for there. Yeah.
I loved Aquafresh as a kid for some reason.
Me too.
I don't know why that was my brand that I decided
it just looked expensive, right?
to
It looked
plant
expensive.
my flag in.
Yeah. But I mean, that's one of the bigger Switch games coming out earlier in the year. Then Forspoken on January 24th, and January 27th is Dead Space. These games, I guess, all could be for the 24th episode, but we probably won't be able to get to them until the 31st episode. So I'm thinking, if we can get our hands on Fire Emblem Engage, we should probably do that one. And I'm also looking forward to that game.
SpongeBob, that's kind of calling me to potentially feature as a game of the week.
That's going to be played hard and heavy in this house. My son is a big fan.
I'd be
the last game.
Curious to hear about it for sure.
Yeah, Griffin sensed it on the Word doc and busted through the door to say hello.
Mm-hmm. There are other games. Yeah, so SpongeBob SquarePants, The Cosmic Shake, January 31st. But Bunch of Punch is not necessarily going to be Game of the Week material. But this looks like an ARMS meets Gang Beast. It looks pretty cool. So I'm just going to put it on our radar. That comes out January 20th. And then Inkluminati, January 31st, is a 2D tactics game with like a medieval manuscript looking style.
Huh. Say
and
less,
it's like there's like little drawn rabbits and stuff, and they have like bow and arrows and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, that looks pretty cool. And then I just early February, also not much coming out early February, but February 2nd, Parish is another Left 4 Dead style game, but it's got like this cool aesthetic to it. It almost looks like, I don't mean this the way this is going to sound. It looks kind of like Dark Souls. And I don't mean like the Dark Souls of Left 4 Dead games. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, like, it looks like a Left 4 Dead just taking place inside of a Dark Souls, or like the cover of Dark Souls is what it looks like. So, yeah, I don't know. It might be worth checking out. But yeah, go ahead.
Either way, I'm intrigued by that setup of a game.
Yeah, I'm me too. For next week, Fire Emblem, and then maybe the week after that, Forspoken or Dead Space. Maybe we try to do both. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I walked away from the Forspoken demo oddly hyped.
Okay,
really?
Let's do it
and
then.
excited.
Because I want to talk about it then, because I want to see how they actually deliver on the final product, and we'll play it and we'll see.
It's just, Square is in such a weird place because I think we're all ready to poo-poo on a game like Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origins, but then it wound up being pretty okay.
Right.
That I think maybe that'll happen again with Forspoken. Who knows? There might be secret NFTs in it. Because Square's just so adamant about that. But Dead Space, after Callisto Protocol, I'm kind of scared, y'all.
Yeah.
And like, I know that it's just supposed to be a remake. They're not going to do any drastic changes. But, oh gosh, it's coming down now.
Was that rain? Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's rain popping off in the background. Fun. But Dead Space is really great. So is SpongeBob. SpongeBob's really cool.
Yeah.
I think we'll probably talk about all these games. Let's plan to do that. But let's make Forspoken the game of the week.
Yeah, let's make Forspoken game of the week. And you know what? There's bound to be dry periods throughout the year. Sorry, this hail is distracting me.
Oh, wow.
Hail. I was wondering. I was like, you guys got loud rain.
I just got really thin doors.
You got a tin roof.
There's bound to be dry periods throughout the year, so maybe a game of the week is something we revisit. Perhaps it was a release we missed from last year. Maybe it's similar to a Stryder 2014, and it's from the wonderful year of 2014. Yeah, we might get the input of our premium folks to in the Discord to chat about that perhaps and dole that out. Well, while I go look outside and feel the rain on my face.
No,
don't
it's
do
heavy.
that.
No,
don't do that.
It's real loud.
Wear safety goggles.
And my partner's just left for a dentist appointment. I might tell
Wear a
her to
helmet.
circle back. We'll be back with the news as long as the rain doesn't kill my internet and my electricity. And we'll see you in just a little bit. I know a common New Year's resolution is wanting to lose some extra fluff, but that shouldn't also include losing money. Save money and budget better, y'all, with Rocketmoney. Rocketmoney, formerly known as Truebill, is a personal finance app that helps and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills. All in one place. Rocketmoney can quickly and easily identify subscriptions so you can stop paying for the ones you don't need, don't want, or straight up forgot that you have. Rocketmoney will also do the work in canceling those unwanted subscriptions for you. No more hold times with customer support or emailing back and forth or trying to find the little button on the page. Just hit the cancel button with Rocketmoney and they will take care of it. I've been guilty of totally forgetting about canceling a free trial before, and Rocketmoney helped me find a subscription or two that's been slipping underneath the radar for maybe too long. Don't be like me, y'all. Stop throwing your money away, cancel unwanted subscriptions, and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/bomb. That's rocketmoney.com/bomb. rocketmoney.com/bomb. That was a rocket. Squarespace, help me! I just thought of the most brilliant idea, but it's gonna require that I get a domain and then a website. And then I need help designing said website with world-class design templates. And then I need to be able to sell things like subscriptions or other e-commerce things. And then I need to be able to track everything, the performance. Perhaps I need some analytical tools. And then I'll probably need some help with marketing. And then I'll probably need 24/7 award-winning customer support for all of these things that I've listed. And you know what? That's fine, because Squarespace is the only thing that can do all of those things I need. And it can also help you do all those things and more. Squarespace has helped tons of folks from bloggers, artists, designers, to salons get the website that they need to truly make their business succeed. Go to squarespace.com/bombcast for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, use the offer code BOMBCAST to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. I think the pup was scared of the hail that was coming down. That's why she started freaking out. I'd like to formally apologize to my dog. I'm going to use this medium that I didn't mean to yell at her. She's still a good girl. Still needs to learn how to poop outside, though. And eventually, I will start charging rent. So
of course.
She only has a matter of time to help her dog daddy, who is me, become a dogfluencer, so we can start cashing those checks, baby.
Doesn't seem like it'd be too hard. I saw a video you played during the break of that dog falling over, and boy, if I had to pay for that content, I would.
What a little goober.
You have a platform, Jan. You should use it. Speaking of which, can you believe some people let their pets shit inside their house?
What? Why?
Wait, what? I mean, like puppies or like
my cat poops inside the house, but that's because it knows where to go.
Pets, just like in like a box.
Yeah, because it doesn't require me to go outside with it. You guys like, oh man, another thing has to poop here. I have to go with it. Like what? Like it'd be cool if a baby still.
It'd be cool if I feel like they need to figure out a better poop for dogs and cats. Like I just think we're still in that very antiquated time of like cleaning up after these.
No.
Some cats have been trained to use the toilet. I did consider trying to do it like that.
Them have like I mean come
apparently
on.
It's something you could do with mini cats, but like training a cat is like a full-time job for like a couple of weeks. So
yeah,
no thanks. I'm not gonna do that.
Yeah, they want you dead. They don't want you training them.
I mean. That's what's wrong with that. I mean,
they're killers.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think we can unite on the fact that pet birds just I think though pet birds actually don't like their humans. Cats, I feel like I've seen.
Well, they're kept in a cage.
Exactly.
Yeah, I used to be a dinosaur, and now I'm kept in this monkey's cage. This is upsetting.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
true.
Yeah. And I've gone to a friend's house that has a parrot. That shit's terrifying. It's little talons like landing on your shoulder. It's like, it's gonna kill me.
I got a thing against birds, man. Oh, I don't know what it is exactly.
Mammalian pride on this podcast. Mammals only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know. Is anyone with me with like the bird ownership?
Oh no!
people?
Wait. Are you part of the bird camp?
No, I think birds are amazing. Not as pets though. Like,
Oh.
I think birds are cool as fuck.
Sure, they're pretty cool. They can fly. Some of them can swim really well.
They're just.
So what are you saying, BirdKAWlar? What is your
just
take
saying,
on bird ownership?
Like bird owning people, like the people who keep, like you said, like keep them in cages, and it's just like, motherfucker, you could fly, but like in the cage you go, for 30 years, you're mine now.
Yeah, I suppose I've never considered the ethics of it, but it seems pretty fucked up. Maybe there's a reason it's not.
I just like I don't
welcome all the
understand.
letters we're gonna get from bird owners for next week's podcast.
I mean,
Bombcast
you could say the
Giant
same thing
Bomb.
about it's the same thing about a fish tank, right? Like,
fish
you
don't
know,
have
like the
feelings.
ocean. What about something inconceivably smaller for the rest of your days? How's that sound?
Sign me up.
I don't know. I just whatever. But I think birds are amazing. They're I don't know. I'm not like a bird person, like a watcher, but like
You're not a birder.
I'm starting to like understand. I'm starting to understand like why you would go to a place just to like with the binoculars and like look around. I don't think I'm that guy, but I can just like appreciate the incredible diversity of that species. Like it is insane. And maybe I follow a couple bird Instagrams.
All right, we've lost them already.
There we go.
Whatever.
You were launching the platform I was trying to use to become a dogfluencer. You want to become a birdstagram
Do
guy.
not. To be clear, do not want that.
Jeff
Okay, pinball's
BirdKAWlar
enough.
wants to add birding to his list of things we associate him with.
Jeff BirdKAWlar.
Yes, Jeff BirdKAWlar. Jeff BirdKAWlar.
I do say caca a lot when I
Yeah,
need to
man,
grab
that's
someone's
weird.
attention.
That explains it.
I'm just like, hey, caca.
And then I'll look up from like my pile of peanuts and like, oh, what?
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Jeff Grubb, you got some news for us, and I'm gonna play the news music with my mouth. These are the news of the week. Jeff Grubb's gonna read some news stories. News. Beautiful.
Yeah, I put together some news, and I'm gonna read it to you right now.
Let's hear it.
Xbox is hosting a developer direct showcase soon. That's the rumor, and it's pretty much seemingly confirmed by a suggestion from one of the guys over there at Xbox. We'll get to that. This seems like it could be announced at any time. Could get announced today, tomorrow, who knows? Could be announced right now while I'm saying this. This is according to Windows Central, which explains that Microsoft will have a rather low-key event to talk about mostly games that's previously announced. And it does have plenty of those titles. The ones that are mentioned in this report include Redfall, Forza Motorsport, and Minecraft Legends. But don't expect this to be akin to something like a Nintendo Direct. This is like a chance for them to basically just have developers come out and say, here's the status of games that we've announced previously. They're not going to come out and do the whole rigmarole where here is, anything could be announced here like a Nintendo Direct, or we're going to shadow drop something like a Nintendo Direct. It's going to be a little bit, again, more low key. Microsoft does have a lot to talk about, though, in terms of those future games that are still coming. So in questions of like, okay, well, what about what's after Starfield? Well, even for this, it doesn't seem like they're going to be talking about Starfield. At least, again, those are the reports. Starfield won't be a part of this. So I wouldn't expect them to give updates on stuff like Avowed, Perfect Dark, things that are supposed to come out after Starfield. So it's still seemingly focused on the first half of this year, a couple of the games that we do know about. Maybe there will be some surprises. Again, I did hear that there was a Tango Gameworks game that could get announced at this thing. I guess we'll see. That's going to be a smaller game. Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But Aaron Greenberg, who is one of the guys over there in charge of, honestly, marketing, I don't know what he's in charge of over at Xbox, but Aaron Greenberg, a big important guy over at Xbox, he said this should be a fun week. Excited for the days to progress, whatever. He wrote that on Twitter. It's a weird thing to say, so I'm assuming. I'm assuming that probably has to do with this thing, him basically confirming that there's something fun coming soon. The Xbox kind of only does the big E3 show, and then occasionally they'll have something at other shows. Maybe they'll do an indie showcase here and there, but they haven't done a lot of other smaller things throughout the year. They probably do need to come out and start talking about 2023 and soon, right?
Yeah, I was picking my brain for a hot minute that they don't do these things, and like what I'm curious as to how this is going to be presented. You going to have Biggie Phil on stage, or is he just going to be sitting at his desk or something, or is it just going to be developer interview roundup just playing over and over again?
I think that's the most likely. It seems like it'll be developers talking to a camera about their game for between 5 and 10 minutes at a time, something like that. So
is this because you think they're starting to feel the pressure that folks are like looking at Microsoft and like, all right, what's happening here, folks? You bought all these studios. Is something going to come out?
100%.
Right. It's definitely that. It's they got through 2022. They didn't have much. A lot of the games that were supposed to come in 2022 are now supposed to come in the first half of this year. Well, tell us that story about what that really looks like, because hey, we're here now. That stuff doesn't just need to be first half of 2023. It needs, here's the date. Here is the story of if you have Game Pass, here's what you're going to be playing this month, and then this month, and then this month. And if they say it, it's okay. It's Redfall. It is Forza Motorsport, Minecraft Legends every 2 months up until E3, and then they get to E3 and they have a whole other story to tell about the rest of the 12 months from that period starting forward or going forward. Well, that's pretty good as long as Starfield also comes out at some point in that time frame. But hey, we just got to see what this looks like. Is it going to be actually exciting, or is there going to be some bad news encapsulated in there? Like, hey, Starfield is delayed again. Hopefully not. Doesn't seem like it, but yeah, I'm at least I want to see what a off E3 show looks like from Xbox these days, because all indication is it should be really exciting because you have a lot going. You have a lot of studios, like you said.
Yeah. I mean, I think it shows an admission of like reading the room a little bit, maybe, and a response to that.
Yeah.
And I think this work is never done, right? Like I feel like there's the constant need to self-promote and campaign. That I don't think Xbox does as well as Sony and Nintendo, just straight up. Like they're not as part of that cadence of keeping in touch, if you will, right? So yeah, this makes sense.
Speaking of Redfall, though, there were some new previews this week, and they helped clarify what this game is. Now, did anyone here read these previews?
No.
Okay.
Didn't we go around the room last time and we were like,
right. Yeah. So again, let's do it. What is Redfall?
It's the 4-player Left 4 Dead-esque vampire game.
Does that sound right?
Fighting vampires.
Class-based. And then I said, okay, it's arcane. So like maybe it's a little like plan your mission before you attack kind of thing.
Okay.
All right. Well, here's the clarification. It's not Arcane's Left 4 Dead. The headline here says that exactly. It says it's actually Arcane's Far Cry, and specifically Far Cry 2, which I don't know if that means anything to you guys, but Far Cry 2 is the one where
you just need to give me a minute.
Yeah.
For the Far Cry 2.
Far Cry 2 is the one that's very systems based, and like not just like it was systems and simulation to the point where you could take a gun, shoot it at a tree branch, and the bullets would go through the tree and shear off the branch. And like later Far Cry games are like, players don't care about that. That's stupid. But there's a certain group of players who's like, actually, that's all I care about. And that creates all these incredible emergent storytelling opportunities. And that seems to be the direction they are going in with this. And boy, I couldn't be more excited. This is incredible.
Like, time out. Oh my God. Like, I don't stand. I could not give less of a shit about Redfall when I first saw it. And now you're telling me that it's like... They're like, no. Everything you saw, we totally misrepresented what this game is. It's actually really fucking cool. Remember Far Cry 2? Remember, wasn't Austin? Was that the game Austin was obsessed with?
That is 100% an Austin Walker ass fucking video game. It sounds like this one's going to be too.
If they were just like, remember Austin Walker's Far Cry 2? Do you remember that? Do you remember how batshit crazy he went over that game? Well, guess what Redfall is? It's just vampires in Far Cry 2.
That, I mean, I think you might have nailed it. Honestly, maybe they should talk to you about marketing their game because they would have said all that. I think they'd be in a much better place right now. Now, they are trying, again, they're out there doing these interviews, Games Radar. They talked to Josh West over there, trying to like get the story out. Here's a quote. Many of these aspects of Redfall aren't predefined activities, but part of the simulated space. Redfall sometimes feels like what you'd get if you blended arcane creative values with Far Cry 2 or Stalker.
Okay.
That's the kind of thing that we have wanted to do for a long time. And they talk about like there's going to be story vignettes in these in combat scenarios that are out there waiting for you. But how you approach them, how you come across them, it's all going to be pretty emergent. And yeah, let's fucking go. I'm like so excited for this game all of a sudden.
I did not have giving a shit about Redfall on my bingo card this morning.
Here it is.
I didn't think this is how the day would transpire, but here we are.
They try to give an example, like the one of the big things that's happening in this game is there's a vampire god that is blocking out the sun during the day. Now, there's time still passes, so during at night it's very dark, and during the day it's a solar eclipse, so it's mostly dark, but there's still sunbeams coming around it. Yes,
I like
me too.
this
Big
guy.
fan of this vampire god.
For. Yeah.
Yes, I believe it's Alice Cooper, actually, is his name. And he's she's up there standing in front of the sun. Yeah, absolutely. But so time passes, and this changes the way you approach things. It sounds a lot like the first Dying Light, actually. I know Dying Light 2 tried this as well. But it's like, so you might go out, start a mission, and time passes, and you get distracted, you do something else, and suddenly you come back outside, and now it's dark out, and that changes the way things are going to come back at you. So you might have planned for one thing, and now you're dealing with an entirely different scenario. And again, it's this possibility simulated space where anything can emerge out, and suddenly you're going back and this crazy thing happens, and you're telling these emerging stories to other people. Like, hey, I did this, and when I did this mission, this happened to me, and then this happened to me. What happened to you? And it's going to be different for everybody. And you combine that with Arcane's really their knack for doing those kinds of systems, but in a slightly more open world. That sounds very tasty to me.
Yeah, that sounds dope.
It sounds so sick. I just cannot get over the fact about how this game debuted, and like if this all comes out to be true, it's just like it's just such a chasm between like how it's been presented.
It's
like,
hard. I mean, I think marketing video games might be pretty hard.
I get it.
Because we make such snap judgments so fast.
Yes,
yeah, right?
But Grubb, like we've been around the block. Like we can see a video for a game and like kind of suss out like what's going on.
Right? Yeah, absolutely. But it's like in here, I think we were off the marks. I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll get it and be like, actually, it's much more like Left 4 Dead than they were ever saying. But
that would be so funny.
That'd be such a rug pull at this point. But we'll see. Well, you remember there was that thing where you had to sign the wall with Peter Molyneux, and it's like, oh, this game is not on rails. This game is not on rails. It was one of the Fable games, right? And you had to sign the wall. And the game comes out, and of course, it's just this on-rails shooter that everyone said it was. But Peter Molyneux made you sign the wall.
I'm going to say that I think Arcane is listening to the Giant Bombcast because they went out and clarified after we had confusion as to what Redfall was.
Yep, I'm thinking of us. That's great.
Exactly. So what I'm going to say now is... please have a vampire riding a unicycle in one of the levels, and then he falls over, and then he just looks at the character and goes, oopsie doopsie. That's all I want.
Oopsie doopsie, I made a fucky wucky.
Yes, exactly.
Nice. Okay.
Please, Arcane devs.
The last person I saw on a unicycle was a guy with really long hair on Ohio State campus, and he came by me and he said, "You need any tree? You need any tree, brother?"
You just said singular? He just said tree?
Yeah, you need any tree? Yeah.
That's weird. Okay.
I was like, what he means. I was like, yeah, he caught me up guard. I'm like, what? What do you? He's like, what's fucking weed? I'm like, okay, all right. Well, I'm good. I'm working right now, but thank you. I really appreciate you spotting me in nature.
Stopped you? Come on.
Was that the only time you saw them walking around?
That's the only time I saw him. He was. I missed that NPC quest after that. Absolutely.
He was a spirit, Grubb. He wasn't a dude.
Yeah, he's a yokai. Yeah, absolutely. All right, moving on. Apple could introduce its AR/VR headset soon. Apple's been working on this thing for like 7 years. I don't know about you guys, but I always assumed it would never come out. It does seem like they're going to put it out this year. And one of the reasons maybe they're putting it out this year is because it seems like they don't have much else to put out this year that's like big spanky new. Obviously, new iPhones, new iPads, new MacBooks, all that stuff will happen. But they're not going to have a new sort of line of products to introduce other than this. the device has its own operating system. It's got all these features, and really, it's been so robust of a development that they've taken away resources from other things. So this release is causing delays of features for iOS 16 and 17, macOS 14. Like, it's causing problems at Apple, but they're going to put it out. And the Bloomberg report didn't have a price, but other headsets are like $1,000 that are pretty similar to this. Now, this is from Apple, though, so add on what, like another $1,500 on top of that,
sure.
right? So
I
think we're $2,000 between $3,000 for this
my
thing.
God.
That's the rumor going around. I mean, I don't ever want to count Apple out when they're putting something out like this, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Is there any excitement for an Apple AR mixed reality device?
I mean, look. Okay, go ahead.
No,
Jan.
no. You first, BirdKAWlar. You have a fully formed thought.
Yeah, and I have come on. I'm,
we know who you are.
Hey,
we know who you are.
You touched Danny DeVito's foot. Look, you're in tune with tech.
Exactly. Only so many people have touched Danny DeVito's foot. That's when you know you've been a made tech man.
Mm-hmm.
So like the problem with all this stuff, and I think Tam, there was like a video where he was talking about
Roll the Tam
headsets,
Yep.
right, on Game S mornings, and it's like, who cares, right? Like, who wants to pay that much money for a thing that technology of which has been around for quite some time and has not really taken off in a major way? Okay. I also think, to Apple's credit, that they have before demonstrated that they can introduce a product that conceptually you might be able to wrap your head around. I'm talking specifically about the iPad, where everyone was like, fuck that. I don't need $1,000 folder, $1,000 like piece of paper, essentially. And meanwhile, it's like permeated its way into our life where we can't even imagine something without tablets, right? It's very important, right? It's very difficult to make the assessment from this point. We do have an established prehistory of VR and AR as being this sort of, shaky foundational kind of technology that is just not really found its place. I think more in industry is maybe where it's been gained momentum, maybe not as a consumer product. That said, I don't think you should ever count them out.
Right, because what was the MP3 market before the iPod, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And like I said, as with tablets as well. So I don't know. Like, I can't understand. I mean, look, like, they'll build a store around it, right? It'll be all the tenets of like the Apple thing that and love or hate. I just don't know like how you effectively reverse a lot of conceptions that have already been made, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Tough.
and it's someone in the chat was pointing out, I think in the Twitch chat, that this is not targeted at gamers, and it almost certainly is not. It's Apple. They don't target gamers. They make a ton of money off gamers, but they still hate games. Yes. And it seems like they always will. And so, yeah, but it's like, okay, then what are we talking about? It probably goes back to enterprise creatives, I suppose. And I mean, I definitely remember like an Unreal demo from a couple years ago where a developer was in a game creating a 3D world, and they were moving things around with their hands, and it probably still is at a certain point the future, especially coming out of Avatar 2, where it's like, hey, we filmed everything just in this performance capture, so we could do whatever we want in the CGI. Like we'll just take every character and we could put them at any angle and take the shot and completely redo the shot because we already have the performance. That's all the data. It's like, okay, well, if you're filming movies that way, now you could take a creative and just like, now you go in that same space with them later and then begin putting the pieces into place. I could see all of that working, but for like a normal person, and another person in chat pointed out, like the rumor is they think they're only going to sell one of these devices per Apple store per month.
What?
That's a very low number. Yes. Like, so they're thinking like 100,000 units sold maybe in like the first year or something like that.
Think of the wait list for that. Jesus.
Yeah. So, I mean, either that or there will just always be one on the shelf. I mean,
now I want one. No.
Oh my God. You're disgusting, Jan.
You really are a gross person. Oh my God.
A grip, Jan. Jesus.
It's not a slot machine. It's not a roulette wheel. Relax.
But it might have an augmented reality, though.
It might. It actually might.
I think from augmented reality, mixed reality stuff to really take off, it's got to have its like TikTok sort of thing though, and you could see that happen. Like I always imagine a world where we are buying skin packs for reality, right? Where an app puts like, hey, you want to wear these goggles all the time, and you want to make everyone look like they're anime characters. Here's a $10 skin pack. You just put a skin pack on Earth now, and you walk around, and everyone looks different.
Jesus.
But it's like, is this the device that could do it? I guess if any of them are going to do it, it probably will be this one. But still, at $2,000, $3,000.
Yeah, I mean the barrier to entry is like not even penetrable. I just think, like a lot of people when they are presented with this sort of stuff, I think it is like a lot of Apple's success has been along the lines of like this just works, right? Like people buy $2,000 MacBooks because they just work. They spend $2,000 on like a TikTok machine basically or whatever, right? And like it just works, right? So I think with this, like that's the advantage that they have is like they've things being intuitive and easy enough for like literally any person from any walk of life to wrap their heads around it and use the thing. I just don't know if the mechanism itself is like as seamless as it is of having an iPhone in your pocket or having an iPod, right? Or an iPad or whatever it is. I don't know. Like when VR and AR is like a pair of glasses like this, I know I say this a lot, but like I don't think it will be until then where you just have like massive
I think
adoption.
Most people agree with that. So, I mean, we have to see the form factor of what this thing looks like.
Yeah.
Probably not going to be glasses yet.
Yeah, I mean that's my biggest question. Is this going to be a device that folks are wearing on them like a lot of the time, or is this just going to be something you bust out when you're only at home? Like I anticipated those what is it, the Air Max or AirPod Pro, the giant headphones that they have. I thought those would be home joints, but then you walk around and you see them on like kids, people just doing the normal commutes.
Well,
so
I mean, those are fashion statements at a certain point, right?
Well, yeah, but then that begs the question:
you're right.
Is this gonna become like the new fashion statement, where like this is the new exclusive sneaker, this is the new like top of the line fashion item for some folks, where because you see someone walking down the street with like a visor over their eyes or whatever this is gonna look like, you're going to also be compelled to line up at the Apple Store or whatever whatever resale website just to try and be a part of it. And then is this also going to influence what, I don't want to say the knockoff VR devices will look like, but is this heavily going to influence the design and look and feel of future VR headsets? Because I mean, after AirPods blew up in popularity, there's so many different types of Bluetooth earphones that look exactly the same and have the same Tic Tac case.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. It's a lot of stuff. This is going to come in. It'll disrupt things no matter what, whether it's like a breakout success or a niche product in the end. It's still going to like influence what we see from mixed reality going forward.
It's so interesting to me and how much like the iPhone has blown up as people's main camera, like when like iPhones are blowing up and you looked at camera stats on a website like Flickr, that the iPhone was becoming the most used camera. And now I'm pretty sure it is for most folks. It's just like a phone camera. That I'm surprised they are thinking about doing this VR AR headset first before trying to make some type of dedicated camera-ish device.
Yeah, that's kind of my worry as well, is that it's not going to play well with the rest of the ecosystem, that they're going to have proprietary stuff, to connect to your phone, to connect to your AirPods and such. And yeah, we'll see.
Yep. I think that's exactly right. It'll play well in that ecosystem and not well anywhere. But I mean, BirdKAWlar would be like the advertisements on boards at hockey games now, but just everywhere. Won't that be great?
No, it won't be great.
Yeah, that doesn't bother me as much as some people, but I kind of got over it.
Yeah, like for people who don't know, in NHL games, they have found a way to superimpose advertisements along the boards, as opposed to like what's there on stuck on the actual boards in person. That doesn't bother me. You know what bothers me about hockey while watching hockey games, Jeff Grubb?
What bothers you?
It bothers me that I have to sit through 9,000 sports gambling ads before I can watch my Devils play.
It just became legal here on January 1st in Ohio, and boy, the end of last year was just every single ad was like, "Hey, Ohio, it's time to." I'm like, "Oh my God, get off, stop! I don't want to hear it anymore."
Like,
I can't start sports gambling. That's not going to happen, Jan. We can't start sports gambling in 2023. All right, I don't care how much of a heel turn you're going through.
Man, I don't want to live through this timeline. I don't want to live through sports gambling overreaching and then it having to be regulated and like reeled back in, because that's what's going to happen, because at this point it's fucking absurd. The messaging is basically the sport you watch is bullshit unless you've put money on it, and it's just like, fuck you.
Yeah, there was a lot of those laws got really lax in the last like 5 years, and they're capitalizing.
It's just so like, I'll watch a game and like I'm sitting there with my kid and he's just like, I don't know what it is, Dad. I think we just have to put money into the TV. Like, what? It's just, you know, and as someone who knows a lot about the gambling thing, it's revolting. It's revolting how much it's become ingrained in the broadcast of it.
Yeah, they talk about money lines. They talk about the over-unders. Yep, absolutely.
That's what kills me. It's when like they'll pause the action to like show the current line. And be like, oh, it's the third period with 2 minutes left. You can still bet on this game. Eat my ass.
It's happening in wrestling too.
What? It is happening in wrestling.
How can you do that? How can you bet on wrestling?
Well,
it seems like it should be illegal.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's the part that.
Yeah. There's probably some agreement there where it's like, I mean, I don't know. I honestly
here's
don't
what
know.
it is. I bet all that shit is just like even money, because. You know what I'm saying? Like, I bet there's no like heavy underdogs or favorites, because it's like, plus that's the wildest thing is like,
it's free for wrestling. You just get it's just to get you into the system, says Danny Glover.
Okay.
That sounds exactly right.
Sense.
Okay.
But like, it's the same point, right? Like, you also couldn't have any major action on any of it, because it would just be suspicious, right? Like,
well, yeah, I mean, because like if it was like no odds on it, you could just always bet on Roman Reigns
exactly
until WrestleMania, and you know all those are gonna come back with you winning. So
but it gives you a taste of being in the system, totally, right?
Exactly.
Yes,
Dude,
and
that's the whole point of like, we'll return, like, bet up to $1,000 for free, right? Which is not what that means.
Yeah, if the Los Angeles Lakers score a single point, you get $200, and it's like, okay, yeah.
If the power goes out at this game, it's like, okay, what are we doing?
Man, can we go back to free tacos after home runs? Jeez.
I know.
Yeah,
right? They still give Arby's fries out if the Detroit Red Wings score 2 goals or more. So there you go. That's the way to do it. All right. There is a new reason to be scared of everything. The PS5's liquid metal may leak onto your motherboard.
Oh no!
Good.
Oh, love that. This got a little bit more sensationalized than what was probably the reality. This is due to a misunderstanding of what was happening. Someone was saying that unopened PlayStation 5s, while they're being shipped, could have their liquid metal spill out and stuff. And that's not happening, or at least as far as anyone could tell. There's no evidence of that. That was a misunderstanding. But according to some people who are repair specialists, I think somewhere in Europe and UK or something like that, they are seeing pretty frequently PlayStation 5s that have been stood up vertically that are, at some point, the seal that keeps the liquid metal, which is the thermal interface material between the CPU, the system on a chip, and the cooler, the big heat sink. The seal on that is beginning to rupture, and it's letting some liquid metal out. And if that liquid metal gets on your motherboard, it really is game over. All that stuff is just a bunch of metal lines connected, and if you short out any one of those, it's just not going to work. So they're warning people, don't put your PlayStation 5 vertically. So that's the big scary thing. Guys, I got to tell you, I'm going to keep mine vertically. I don't give a shit. I am not too worried about this. I'm sure this is a point of failure. There are a lot of point of failures on these consoles, or points of failure, excuse me, on these systems, just like on your PC, just like on anything. And this is not any more likely to happen to you than anything else. This is just like the big, scary new thing that people could sort of sensationalize again. I'm just not that worried about it. But I don't know. I mean, BirdKAWlar says he's going to keep his vertically. Do you guys have your PlayStation 5 vertically now, and are you going to keep it that way?
Never have, actually.
Okay.
I've been a vertical boy this whole time.
Oh yeah, me too.
If I put my PS5 horizontally, I gotta move.
Yeah.
Okay? I don't have the fucking real estate for that shit. right?
Yeah, there's
Jan knows what I'm talking about.
no way for your children to sleep. Like, yeah.
I have to kick Marty out of the house.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you got to put a pillow back on top of the PS5. You sleep up there. Yeah, but I'm rocking mine vertically, and I will continue to do so. But hey, if your PS5 begins acting weird or breaks, maybe that is it. But this is not a red ring of death issue. This is not going to be as problematic as something like that.
Man, it must suck to have something you said get totally blown out of proportion about a console.
That's
really be
weird.
shitty. It must
I wrote
really
a whole
suck
story
to have-
about how like that was just not a real thing. Those are some of the people needed to not freak out about because it's like, yeah, it gets as hot as anything else, but that's all good.
Here we are.
Yep. Facebook is pulling the plug on the original Oculus Quest. You can still use the headset and its available apps. There is some question about what the word available is going to mean there. Like, will they make some things unavailable? But the available apps will continue to work, but you will not be getting new features. You'll get security updates because companies always do that for quite some time. They let's see, but they are also saying you won't be able to join or start like parties or whatever. So if you want to go into like Horizon, Meta Home Horizon or whatever it's called with your friends, which I'm sure everybody's devastated about. You can't go in there with your Quest 1 friends anymore. That's not going to work anymore. So they're going to be pulling the plug on some features and not giving it new features. Quest 1 is pretty outdated at this point, especially with the Quest 2 being on the market for so long. This seems somewhat okay, but also it's like, oh yeah, these relatively recent VR devices are already being phased out. I don't know. Are you guys into the Quest? Did you guys get a Quest 2? Because I do have a Quest and a Quest 2 at this point.
I got a Quest 2. How old is the Quest 1? Like, oh shit. Like, it's not that long in the grand scheme of things.
I guess, is it like 2018, 2019?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'll look it up.
It seems like
You're right. That's actually not that long. Yeah.
That scares me. Shit.
Yeah.
Hey, but they did move on from it really. Like the Quest 2 came out pretty fast after the Quest 1. I think what happened was they put out the Quest as like feelers. And like, oh, this thing's rocketing. Let's put out the Quest 2 right now and just make that our future platform pretty much going forward. I think that's kind of how it went down. Yeah.
I can't stop thinking about this Apple AR VR device.
Oh no, Jan. Oh my sweet baby Jan.
When I was cleaning up the office last time, there was like in the e-waste bin, there was a Google Glass device in there.
Really? Oh shit.
Thought about it. Wasn't ours.
Those.
Oh, maybe it was ours. And then I thought like, oh man, what a cool future this was. Remember, Jerome, when you tried one of your classmates' Google Glass on and then they forgot to close the browser and he saw some adult films.
Right in your eyeball.
That can happen all over again, but with Apple.
It's going to be beautiful. All right. Neil Druckmann, he is out there. He's talking because they got a new show coming out called The Last of Us, based on the film, the game, The Last of Us. Neil got that dog in him, Druckmann, who is one of the creatives at Naughty Dog, is out doing interviews for this show. And he did one with the Washington Post where he talked about his evolving views on storytelling in games. Now, the Naughty Dog, very much known for making one kind of storytelling game, very narrative heavy. He says that he's been playing games like Elden Ring, and that's changed some things. I have the quote here. I'm more recently intrigued by stuff like Elden Ring and Inside that don't rely as much on traditional narrative to tell a story. I think some of the best storytelling in The Last of Us, yes, a lot of it is cinematics, but a lot of it is in the gameplay and moving around a space and understanding a history of a space by just looking at it and examining it. To me, that right now is some of the best joy I get out of games. Those that trust their audience to figure things out, that don't hold their hand, that stuff I'm really intrigued by going forward. It doesn't really mean we will never have dialogue or cutscenes. I think those are tools in your toolbox, and it's about how to use all these different aspects, some of it from other media, some of it as found notes and environmental storytelling. I think there's a way to push that stuff forward, at least for the kind of games we make at Naughty Dog. And again, it's in stuff that we're working on now. I can tell you that the teams are very excited by the different projects we have at Naughty Dog.
All that shit we were doing is bullshit.
Yeah, a little bit does sound a little bit that way. Obviously, it's probably not what he's trying to get across, but it does sound that way.
No,
but I'm excited. Shit, make a game for Jeff Grubb. Hell yeah,
dude. Like, I do like hearing this though. In all seriousness, like to me, this however we got here, it is refreshing to be like, oh, because I do think 10 years from now, like that kind of storytelling in a game will seem antiquated and very you're shoehorning a movie into your game, Kojima, and it's like, I just think moving down the line, like I think that practice will seem very old school and very antiquated for sure.
Yeah, it'll seem like a bit sophomoric, right? Or it'll seem like, oh, you are kind of doing things in a cheesy, hokey way. I mean, not necessarily hackneyed, because it would all depend on the execution, right? If you put out a game with a great story, people are going to love it. Just that'll be true until the end of time. But if it's like if it's a pretty similar story or to something that comes out and does trust the player, as Neil Druckmann puts it, people I think are going to recognize that that's a stronger use of the medium of games. Not always, and again, there's room for both. But I think there's something to be said that Druckmann's out there saying the same thing, where it's, hey, we are attracted to this concept now in a way that we weren't before. So, I don't know, pretty exciting to me.
That's cool, yeah.
Very cool.
He did mention, though, that they have other projects there at the end. Like, hey, we have different projects coming, and we're very excited about it. They've said that they probably won't reveal games super early anymore, and that's about as much as they're going to say about projects like that for now.
Because we got to delete all the cutscenes now.
This is from another interview from Comic Book.
Sorry, Troy.
Oh my God.
Troy, you're now a billboard.
Yeah.
You're now environmental.
Yeah, you're actually going to be a skeleton in the background in a bathroom. Like that's what you are now. If you want to do some work for that, I guess we can use you. This is from comicbook.com. We did announce Uncharted 4 and The Last of Us Part 2 way in advance. And again, this is Neil Druckmann as part of his interview with comicbook.com. But that actually caused a little bit of work-life balance issues that we've sometimes had at the studio. It's a pretty mild way of putting like, oh yeah, we got shot through a cannon for having way too much crunch and got in a lot of trouble for that stuff. But yes, work-life balance, also a true way of explaining that. By delaying that announcement a bit, we could play with the schedule more, and we're more conscious now about how we're approaching production. So there's our The Last of Us multiplayer project, and there's another project that I will not say anything about that's beyond that we're also very much excited for. And that's as much as they're going to go into it with these games now, because they want to just keep holding off, and that gives them more room to play with, because they said, like, wait, we had The Last of Us Part 2, and we delayed it, and we delayed it, and then we did one final delay that was almost explicitly so we didn't have to crunch everybody as hard as possible. We're going to just do a final pass on this game, and we're going to push the date out so that people can polish it without trying to do all the polish in a couple of weeks or something like that. Mm-hmm. So it was something they want to avoid by just saying, hey, let's build in the understanding that there could be a lot of delays, and let's just announce when we know a lot more about the possibility of when this game can come out, because things are different than the way they used to be. It used to be you announced the game as early as possible, and you racked up as many pre-orders as you possibly could, and that was business. That's how it worked. Yeah. And now these days, pre-orders are just not anywhere nearly as important as they were back then. Games have much longer tails now. They can have much longer tails. They get sold throughout the entire generation, usually without as many price cuts as they would have gotten previously. This is especially true for Nintendo's side, but Sony's trying to push in that direction. And I think, like, hey, Naughty Dog is leading us in that charge of being like, hey, our premium games are premium, and they're worth a pretty high price for years and years. And so they're like, okay, well, with that in mind, maybe we could change the way we announce games, and we can put them out and say, in 3 months, in 6 months, this game is coming out. This is the marketing campaign, and then you also save money on that marketing campaign at the same time, right? This is the future of pushing out games, right, guys?
Yeah, I feel like this also, working from home and working through a pandemic and everything has changed the hype cycle of stuff as well, and like the relevance of E3 or other Keeley projects popping up in the meantime is like changing the hype cycle of like, all right, we got to drop a trailer, we got to announce things. Suddenly, maybe you don't. And then I think I'm all for that, because then you incur the wrath of the internet of like, all right, of course this is gonna get delayed, and you just don't run into that problem if you don't announce it.
Mm-hmm.
Be like
Exactly.
Beyonce, you know?
Yeah, just surprise drop it. Yeah, be Beyonce. Naughty Dog could pull it off, right? Neil Druckmann came out and said, we are the Beyonce of video games. He would get a lot of flack, but I think he could also pull it off.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah. All right, Druck.
I would yell at him on a podcast, but that's not going to hurt him.
Yeah. Still like Rihanna better.
Of course. We know, Jay. Forza Horizon leads leave Xbox's Playground Games to form a new AAA studio. This starts with Forza Horizon creative director Mike Brown, who left Playgrounds and has founded Maverick Studio in Leamington Spa, UK. I think I'm saying that right. The studio has secured pretty significant seed funding, a lot of money, and it is already working on a premium open world game. The team has already attracted other talent from Playground as well as other studios in the area, including Sumo Digital. This mostly seems to be affecting the team that worked on Forza Horizon and not the Fable team, most of which still has its creative teams and creative leads intact, with the exception of there's someone who left a couple months ago unrelated to this. So yeah, this is pretty exciting. This is the way games have been working. Playground Games is an acquisition of Microsoft. They acquired the IPs and all that. Well, I mean, they own Forza and stuff like that, but they acquired a lot of the talent, but that talent also got a lot of money. Now they're going off and starting a new studio, and there's a lot of seed money waiting for them to fund them, and they're not going to go start and be like, okay, I guess we'll go make an indie game. No, they're making a full, big AAA open world game right away. So that's just the way gaming is these days. It's very dynamic. It's very possible that you could do something like this, and that just wasn't the way things were 5-10 years ago. So I'm pretty excited that studios are still getting founded, even though we're all worried about an economic hardships to come. Well, a studio like this is like, hey, we have talent. Can we still get money? There's still people willing to make that investment. That's a pretty good sign, I think. What do you guys think? Well, not everyone at once.
I think I'm just getting a little bit fatigued with having to think about another big, huge open world racing game. And then
they didn't specify racing, but it could be. It could be, but it didn't specify
digital,
racing.
Like working on it. Yeah, that's a pretty good indicator that it's probably a racing game.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Playground, that's their lineage too, and this is like Forza Horizon team, so it very much could be, but they did not specify it. They just said open world. So we'll see. But you're right. If it's an open world, I think I'm right there with you, Jan. I'm like ready for more arcadey racers, and I don't need more open world exploration racers anymore. Yep. There's enough of those.
And I know that the Forza Horizon series is less serious than the mainline Forza games, but even then, I feel like I'm growing very weary of like, this is a car game. Look at these flashy graphics type of presentation with a lot of racing games, not just limited to Forza. Like I completely bounced off of Gran Turismo, even though I know that a lot of folks were really dug their heels into liking GT7 a lot. I don't know, make a weird one. Make a
weird one.
Make a Jelly Bean Fall Guys style type of racing
set
game.
on Mars.
Yeah. Be imaginative with it. Let's set this racing game underwater. Make open world Mario Kart, and then I'll come over.
I'm down.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, last couple of stories here. Alleged footage of an unannounced PlayStation shooter is leaked online. The footage looks like something between Gears of War and Mass Effect. It also looks very, very early, which has been pretty much confirmed by one of the leakers responsible for it, I believe, who said that they saw a lot more of the game, and it's coming along. It is apparently a part of Sony's X-Dev division, which is a group within Sony that always works with an external studio. That studio is unnamed, but I think some people are speculating that it could be from People Can Fly, who made Bulletstorm. And what was the Outriders? Is that the one they just made?
Yeah.
Outriders. Yes. Outriders. So yeah, they probably had some time and they could be working on something like that. And it looks like something that an Outrider or People Can Fly would work on, but it looks like, hey, there's a big sci-fi looking monster guy up in the sky, and it's an over-the-shoulder camera, so looks pretty good. Now, Sony is, of course, working on up to 12 live service games. This one is probably one of those as well, it seems like. I mean, it's always possible that it is just another cinematic over-the-shoulder game where, there's a sad dad somewhere, but it probably is one of the live service games. And when you guys see over-the-shoulder Gears of War camera angle and a Mass Effect-like setting, does that get you excited to go in there and spend money on microtransactions, or?
I just don't see where that happens in a game like that. Like, I've not been trained to make that connection.
At least you're able to see your costumes because it's third person.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess there's no indication that this is the case, but my leap would be, well, the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer was pretty popular for a really long time,
Yeah,
so maybe
true.
it's something like that like sci-fi horde mode, I guess is what it was. I didn't play much of it, but I know it was pretty popular, so maybe something like that. And then you're right, costumes, you could third person, you could see your character, so you put them in a fucking Ronald McDonald costume, I guess. You charge them $8 and call it a day.
I mean, Outriders, I feel like it had a pretty strong community for a hot minute. Surprisingly, like, people stuck with it. Same thing could happen here. And I remember some of those costumes, or at least the armor you'd pick up at the end of Outriders, people looking mad outlandish. So you could pay to look super outlandish and super extra this time.
Yeah.
Yep. People doubting that Mass Effect 3 multiplayer was popular. I dare you to go online and just go on Twitter and say that, and I'll let the Mass Effect fans find you, because it's happened to me. It'll happen to you too. Sony announced Project Leonardo, a new controller peripheral to make gaming more accessible. It is similar to the adaptability controller from Microsoft. It's very customizable and expandable. It's like this little disc thing that has all the buttons around the edges. A big joystick pops out of the top. It's got 3.5 millimeter jack inputs and outputs so that you can connect other devices. And it seems pretty cool. They promised that they'll talk about it more later this year. Didn't provide anything like pricing or releasing as far as I could tell. But this is pretty cool. And it was one of the big things they had at CES. And it's a reminder, oh yeah, Sony can do really cool hardware stuff. And it is a very cool looking adaptability controller. Pretty cool, right?
Yeah, 100%. About time.
It looks awesome. Yeah. I wonder if it's going to be compatible with PC though, because most of the stuff, their peripherals, I think, only work on PlayStation, and they don't play well with PC. I wonder.
Yeah, I wonder as well. And I mean, it's like, well, they need something for PlayStation like this, and then people could probably use the Microsoft adaptability controller. But you would also want people to not have to bounce and back and forth between different devices for different platforms, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you'd want one setup only.
Yeah, and ideally that's where we get, and we'll just kind of, maybe we're in the growing pains period, and we have to go through that, I guess, at some point. You would hope maybe they could just skip right to the point where everything works, but for now, if this is what we have to go through to get to a point where everything does just work and works with each other, well, okay, then let's get through it. Let's get it started and get it over with.
Yep, I'm glad they're finally on board with this.
Me too.
Yeah, they've needed something like this for quite a while.
And it's Sony. They can always do something really well if they put their mind to it. And again, it looks really attractive. Looks really nice.
Hell yeah.
Jan, that does it for the news. I'm handing this show back over to you, bud.
Oh man, and I'm gonna handle it, and then I'm gonna think about if it was an Apple VR AR headset, and then I'm gonna put it on my mind spirit hat.
Jesus,
Can't be helped. Maybe
think
maybe
about
that's it.
like you could put it like.
I mean, what
Angry
sucks
Bird.
is you could pull it off. I hate it that you could just pull it wearing it all the time. I hate
We could
it.
all pull it off. Think about it. It'd be so cool. I just
could get a little hip clip, for when I'm not wearing it.
Oh my god, that sounds
like
fun.
you used to do with cell phones back in the day.
A VR chain wallet. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, now my interest is piqued. Like there'll also be some ridiculous shortcoming. That like every other VR headset or AR headset has like as a standard feature, and then the Apple thing will just be like, yeah, version 2 probably. I don't know. It just we couldn't swing it for this one.
Apple, if you're listening, which I know you are, say hello to the devs at Arcane as well. What I need y'all to do, I need y'all to turn this Apple AR VR device, just turn it into like the Megazord of Apple products. Turn it into like the Voltron of Apple products. I want to slap on my visor, and then over it I insert my headphones, and then in the back I slap my iPhone in, and then I take an old iMac and then stick my hands through 2 of them, and then I become a robot. I become Mega Man through Apple. This is how it'll happen. I'm gonna continue. I'll draw this out and I'll present it after we take another quick break. Hellofresh is here to help you take control of your time and y'all's budget with delicious recipes delivered straight to your door. No more worrying about the line at the grocery store or overspending on ingredients. On top of that, you can still eat well and save more money by cutting back on expensive takeout and delivery foods with HelloFresh. Y'all can get restaurant quality meals right in your own kitchen. If you're tight on time to get a meal on the table for you or the family, HelloFresh has fast and fresh recipes that you can get ready in less than 15 minutes. Recipes like falafel power bowls, seared steak with potatoes with a béarnaise sauce, or Southwest pork and bean burritos. With over 35 weekly recipes, you got a bunch of options to eat healthy. Listen, y'all, with a new pup,
A lot of my free time is now occupied, and I can't hit up the grocery store to whip up some dinner. But thanks to HelloFresh, though, I can still get meals on the table, and I'm surprised that I made it at home. Like a bibimbap. Bibimbap's just a fun word to say, and it's even more of a delicious dish to cook with HelloFresh. And I'm saving money by not getting takeout all the time, y'all. Go to HelloFresh.com/Bombcast21 and use code BOMBCAST21 for 21 free meals plus free shipping. Once again, that's HelloFresh.com/Bombcast21 and use code BOMBCAST21 for 21 free meals plus free shipping. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. These are the emails for the show. These are the emails for the show. Bombcast@giantbomb.com. I've still yet to figure out what causes the audio delay when I play an audio cue on one machine. It makes the other machine all funky. Who knows? Maybe it's ghosts. It's probably ghosts.
It's time dilation.
Obviously.
Yes. You can send your emails, and we might read them, and we all get them now, apparently. If you send them to bombcast@giantbomb.com, you can send an email about virtually any and everything, just like these folks have, just like Chuck from Appleton, Wisconsin, has sent an email about. They write, "Hey, y'all. I used to work for a nonprofit in the department that evaluated the resale value of higher-priced donations. We came across counterfeit Pokemon games often, usually GBA, and would learn how to spot them. I was once at a Pawn America and noticed them selling about 5 counterfeit Pokemon games. One of them was a GBA cart for Crystal, and I decided to flag down an employee. Me. Jeff Grubb, could you play the role of the employee here?
100%.
Okay. Excuse me, these games are actually fake.
No, they're real. There they are, right there.
No, I mean, they're counterfeit. I can show you if you open the display case.
Are you going to buy them?
No.
Then I'm not opening the case.
I feel bad for whoever ended up buying them. Chuck, Appleton, Wisconsin. Thanks, Chuck.
Thanks, Chuck. That's fantastic. And I'm like, hey, Chuck, by the way, I could have told you that's how it was going to go down at Pawn America, by the way.
What is Pawn America? Is it just like a big...
It sounds like a big pawn shop gathering place, yeah. I forget the one in Michigan was called that I went to all the time as a kid, but yes, it's recognizable.
The counterfeit fake Pokemon cart thing is so widespread. I remember when I visited a cousin in the Philippines, it was like, yo, Jerome, kuya, I got a secret Pokemon game. And then he fires it up, and I'm like, the fuck is this shit? And it was like a combination of 2 different Pokemon games. And then I asked him, like, how did you come across this? I'm like, oh, behind the school, I bought it. I'm like, all right, okay, not gonna question it.
I wonder what the differences are. That's pretty wild.
Doesn't it take work to dump a ROM onto a cart as well, or is
not much these days?
You gotta, you just need the hardware. You just need the right hardware. Yeah.
Right. If you made an investment in the hardware, you got to get a return on that investment. So yeah, get out there, make it happen. Get behind the school and sell some fucking carts.
So are you telling me we could potentially dump episodes burn dumps, episodes of our fine programming onto GBA carts? We just have to like encode it at like a postage stamp size.
Yeah. There was didn't they sell episodes of cartoons on Game Boy Advance cards? I never had any. I was too old for that at that time, and I was just like, what is this quality? But I would love to watch those now. I would love to see. So yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Honestly, we get the store back up. We could maybe put some stuff on a cart and see what happens. Yeah, I would love that.
I remember watching an episode of SpongeBob on one of those bad boys. And I think I got it through GameFly at the time. So, it was almost like Netflix at the time, but for gamers. God, how big do you think those video files were? Like 5 megabytes?
Not even.
I was going to say 10, but you're probably right. Yeah.
5. Okay. If it's like 30 minutes and the resolution's like max, like, not even 720.
Is there extra room for audio, or is it like 5 for video and audio?
5 for 5.
I think it's everything, dude.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, if you know how to dump stuff onto a GBA cart and you have the means to, holler at your boys.
Next email comes from Brad from Madison.
Wisconsin. All right.
Oh, no, Wisconsin. There we go. Now that the PSVR 2 is well on its way, any word on what other media can be consumed on it? I, like Jan, have a high level of interest in VR, and this is in quotation marks, movies.
Oh.
Thanks for the insight, Brad from Madison. Brad, I'm not going to watch any illicit adult films on this. I just want to watch movies. I want to watch Way of the Water and this shit. Please.
I mean, I could show you a film that's Way of the Water in VR.
Oh, I invited myself to that.
Yeah.
That's my fault. That's my fault.
I think with the PSVR 1, I thought there was a way to put movies on the PlayStation and watch them, or there was some support for that stuff. But it's not. Well, I mean, and the PlayStation 5 doesn't have a browser, right?
It doesn't.
So I don't think it does. I don't think they put a browser out because then you could play Xbox Game Pass or get like Xbox Cloud gaming on there or whatever, and they don't want that or some shit. So, yeah, you might be have a difficult time with the PSVR 2 up until someone puts out a way for you to use it on your PC, which they will come up with something, but that might be a little bit of a workaround and not exactly ideal.
Oh, I guess they could be talking about cartoons and not adult films. Pardon me, Brad, for assuming.
Oh no, that's porn. That's code. For
Yeah, adult cartoons.
Yeah.
Oh,
Everyone knows
hentai.
that.
Got it.
Yes.
Got it.
Hentai.
All right. Next email comes from Steve from they put NE, which is Nebraska, but then they put OH, which is Ohio.
Northeastern Ohio.
Oh,
Is it Northeastern
okay.
Ohio? Sure, yeah, that looks right.
And I thought they made a new state, and I just didn't know about it.
Is that what I'm supposed to be saying, Steve? Neo?
Yeah.
I'm from Neo. I'm from the Neo.
Neo?
Sorry. Never going to say that again, but yeah, cool.
No, please. We need to start the show and end the show every time with that.
I'm from Neo.
Hello, Bombi boys and girls. I was thinking about how much I miss Final Fantasy Tactics while driving into work, and then something hit me. In Avatar: The Last Airbender Tactics game, Earthbenders could raise the tile, move if they have a higher level to create barriers, create choke points, and alter the map. Waterbenders could warp rivers to sweep enemies downstream. Airbenders could have high mobility and push enemies around. Firebenders would be high DPS units with range attacks. Don't get me started on stuff like metal bending and blood bending. Are there any other games that would translate into incredible tile games? Bonus question, what epiphanies have you guys had while driving? Love always and forever, Steve from Neo.
I have lots of epiphanies while driving, usually about oh man, I gotta change my life. Things are going bad. I gotta be a better person. Gotta stop sinning so much so that my Elgato key light will work. Been there. But this is a pretty good idea. I think the other Avatar would also work pretty good as a tactics game. James Cameron's Avatar as well. Get that in there. The mechs and the Na'vi. Come on, that would be great going one-on-one in there.
And then everyone animates at a different frame rate. Oh, glorious.
Yes,
Glorious.
exactly. Yes, I love it.
What you got to do is get yourself, Project Cross Zone, and that's got characters from Capcom universe, Sega. It's all over the place. All your fan favorites. You got your Mega Mans. You got your Street Fighters. You got your Resident Evils. And then you got I don't know if they have Sonic. They have other Sega shit, but it's cool.
That sounds awesome. I've never touched that.
That's great, actually.
Yeah.
I think you could turn anything into a tile game.
Yeah, they were going to turn Zelda. That Did You Know Gaming episode that Nintendo tried to flag was, I think it was the one about Zelda getting turned into a tactics game by Retro after one of the Metroid Prime games. I'm like, oh, that could have worked. So yeah, just about anything could fit that form.
Yeah, I mean, anything could also be adapted to a turn-based thing. You have your Paper Marios, and just give that bad boy some tiles. Put them on some graph paper. There you go. Nintendo, you're welcome for the next Paper Mario idea.
What do you guys like? You guys like graph paper, or you like a dot grid? What's your paper preference? Are you ruled boys? College ruled? What kind of paper boys?
I do still get excited when I see graph paper. Yeah,
I think graph paper's sick.
Yeah,
it is. Not the heavy. I don't like a heavy line. I like it a little light, little light blue.
Yeah,
you
lightly weighted
hexagons.
Ooh,
for miniatures. Yeah.
Yeah, you can draw a lot of 3-dimensional shit
Fuck
using
yeah.
that, right?
There have been multiple times where, because of anytime I see a hex gun, I think about getting mad into Warhammer. But I don't think that would complete the heel turn of 2023. Yeah, I like a good graph paper. The dots, it's too much ambiguity for me. I don't like it.
I'm a dot grid guy.
You're a dot grid guy?
Love that dot grid.
I like a good soft graph. I'm such a sucker though for like any what is this? A legal pad? No. Like
It's a reporter's journal book.
a reporter's
That's
book?
That's a coffee stained reporter's notebook.
Of course it'd be. I would have a coffee stained book. I just like flipping pages like this. Oh no, I need that note.
Whoa! Your editor is gonna hate you.
This says checking or saving. Oh boy, I should really use these pages more effectively than writing 3 words on it. Next email comes from Colin, and they are asking about crimes. Hiya, Bombcast. New listener. Loving the show so far. Hello. I was listening to episode 768 where someone asked about hitting the S key with your ring finger. And it reminded me of my absolutely psychotic roommate who somehow uses his left thumb to hit left shift and his pinky to hit the 1 key.
What the fuck?
Whoa.
Wait,
He
what?
thought this was normal until I told him he needs to face a board for crimes against humanity.
Yeah.
Thank you, Colin. So,
Oh, I just sprained my hand attempting to do
I
that.
know.
yeah, visualize this, folks. You put like a ring, middle,
Oh,
and
man.
pointer on WASD, and then you put
Ring.
your left thumb on left shift,
No,
That's where
fuck
my
that.
pinky
That is
goes.
already painful.
Dude, what is this person doing?
and then your pinky on numerical 1. What is this?
Get out of here.
I can't
Are
do
you
this without
triple-
accidentally pressing one of the buttons.
Yeah, you got to be like triple jointed
Fucked.
to do that. Get
Like,
out of here.
You gotta have long fingers, right?
No,
Like,
Oh,
that
like
doesn't
real-
work for me.
Like Jack Skellington ass fingers. Like, what's that?
Or you're like Igor, like Dr. Frankenstein's assistant. You're just like always walking around like the curled fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what do you
I don't like
use to
this.
hit space then? Like, do you just
Your
use your
nose.
stuff?
You know,
Checks out.
Your dick.
as a keyboard perv, I do notice a lot of like, oh, you know what? You don't wind up using this key a lot, right?
Mhm.
There's like certain keys that I can tell that I'm just not hitting that much. I don't think I ignore a key more than right shift.
Yeah.
I think
sure.
right shift gets a
What?
gets
I
lost
use
in
that
the
when I'm
sauce.
capitalizing a letter with my left hand.
I
right
don't,
shift is-
I'm not saying I don't use it. Definitely, I do use it,
Okay.
but I think it's less used than you might think. Is what I'm saying.
Well, listen, I have function keys, so I ignore the function button. That's where I'm at. That's what I'm ignoring.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Because I function key supremacy. I believe in a 100% keyboard.
Well, look, nobody's perfect. Do you guys are you like good typers? There was a
No,
game
not
that came
anymore,
out.
really.
What's that, Jason?
Not anymore, actually. Yeah. Since I
Yeah.
got like nerve damage in my fingers, I
Sure.
can't really type that well.
Yeah, that's understandable.
I'm staring at your eyes right now, and I'm typing. I'm. Oh
Are
shit!
you
I
typing
fucked it up.
well?
I'm typing well. I think I
There's
am.
I
mark?
always meant to do this. Maybe we'll do it one day in the coming weeks. There's a company that I'm a patron of called Novel Keys, and they released a game on Steam, like a typing game on Steam.
Cool.
And I wonder what that's all about. But I don't think I am the quickest typer. As much of a keyboard perv than I am, I'm not sure I'm the best typer.
I don't think those have to be mutually exclusive, you know?
Yeah, but you want to have like a good sound. You want to keep like a good pace.
I think that's
No.
a you problem more than anything,
that's
dog.
That's a Jeff problem.
Yeah.
Sorry to project that onto you all, but
No. I'm willing to project, accept the projections. Consider me a screen. Next email comes from Braden in Ottawa. Hi, Bombcast. Like I always say, love you all and thank you for all you do. Favorite part of my week. Do you think this year we will get some more news about the Bond game being made by the Hitman folks? Maybe a release window for 2024? Thanks as always, Braden in Ottawa.
I
What
want
do
to
you
say
think?
2020. I think we get it in 2025. So I don't think we hear about it until 2024.
Damn.
I think that they
Wow.
I think it takes a long time to make a game these days. I think it's I think they announced it very, very, very early. I think Hitman 3 is doing just fine for them. They keep seeming to put more and more resources back into Hitman 3 after saying they wouldn't.
They
have
rebranded it, didn't they?
Yeah, they rebranded it to World of Assassination: Hitman, I guess. There is that other game that they're working on, that RPG that's kind of, I don't know, that it seems like it's also going to be a pretty big game that they were kind of working with Microsoft on. So they have a lot going on. I don't think there's any world where they get that game out by 2024.
I'm also thinking, I'd hope you're wrong on that front as well. That seems like it'd be a fun game.
Oh yeah.
Like what design of Bond do you go with?
You got to do your own, right? Because that way you don't have to like worry about the actors. Like you just kind of do your own Bond, and you are. But like, did you say what era? Because like I guess that's a.
Oh, I didn't even think about what era. Yeah, like you go like 70s or like
because I guess
Bond.
you wouldn't try to pull that off. It would probably be fun to set it before like cell phones, like because that like keeps it like more open. Like there's a bigger possibility space.
Yeah.
For like what your characters and villains can get away with.
The tech could be more fun that way too.
Yeah, and the tech could be more right, exactly. Because then, James Bond has like a personal communication device, but he's the only one who does it. It's really cool. I think you probably do set it in like 70s, 80s, something like that. But I don't know.
Would the Bond estate, and I don't know how particular they are about things, would the Bond estate be okay if it's like a make your own 007?
I don't know. They'd probably be fine with that, but I don't know if that'd be good for the game.
Right. I mean, they could just still have the silhouette of like James Bond pointing down the barrel, and that'd be fine.
Yeah. You're gonna be Bond. It doesn't matter as long as you're Bond. You know.
That's true. Yeah.
It's true. All right. Next email comes from Michael. They need some expert advice from the experts we've assembled here. Hello, lovely people. Greetings from Buckinghamshire, England. Hope you're doing well. I recently won a Twitter competition for a gaming laptop, the details of which are Asus TUF F15 15.6 end quotation mark. I know absolutely nothing about PC games or specs, but I'm informed by friends that this is pretty damn good and can run most games. As a console gamer who hadn't partaken in PC gaming since before Steam was a thing, can you help me with the best games, things to do first with this lovely little bit of kit? You're all wonderful. Lots of love, Michael.
Yeah. It's a 3070 i7, it seems like. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, you should be good. I would just enjoy the like modding side of games since you haven't messed around with that too much, and it's gotten very easy.
Yeah.
So I mean, I would even just like start with Skyrim, especially even if you have played it before, and just go in there and like just go watch a YouTube video about the best mods, install a bunch, and see what you can do, because it gets pretty interesting when you can mess around with games that way.
I would say download a Minecraft shader pack. I don't know if you've checked out Minecraft before on console, but throwing a shader pack on that bad boy can be real fun.
Yes.
God, BirdKAWlar, what's the game that Dylan really likes? It's like voxels and stuff. You break everything.
Tear down.
Tear down. Yeah, get tear down. Just break everything.
Tear down will might chug on that. I know it sounds crazy. Those mobile GPUs are just not. You need to plug that bad boy in when you're playing tear down.
Well, you definitely want to plug it in, and you'll want to like. I haven't used a ROG, an Asus laptop in quite some time, but they'll probably have their own software on top of Windows. It's like, hey, here's how you control gaming mode, and you want to turn on gaming mode, and those fans are going to be loud as fuck. That's normal, but you want to turn that stuff up and just have those fans really going when you're playing games. Might also be good to like just treat it like a real PC though, and let it be really loud over in the corner, and take an HDMI cord and plug it into your TV. And set up the new like Steam, the Steam couch mode, or whatever, the big picture mode.
Big screen, big picture.
Yeah, just connect a wireless controller and just turn it into your, a really cool new console that you have. Yeah.
When in doubt, just down-res it to 1080 and you're all set.
Absolutely, yeah.
The other thing to take advantage of now that you are open to the world of PC gaming, sales on shit.
And Steam and Humble Bundles and shit. Yeah.
Free games on itch. You can get the Professional. We were playing that on UPF. It's fun
Yeah.
to like mess around with little games that don't really even try to come out on console. Like I have a really good time with those kinds of things.
Folks in the Giant Bomb chat are also chiming in with Game Pass. Yeah, if you get PC Game Pass, you can get an obscene amount of games. Some of them like as they are coming out on release day. Yeah, I mean Pentiment. That's how I wanted playing that. And yeah, geez, I guess if we do the math about it, be saving money now, dog. Or flip that bad boy. You don't know what you're doing. Forget about it. Don't learn a new world.
Yeah, sell it and get a Steam Deck, and then that's like the easy way into PC gaming.
Oh yeah, even better.
You saved a lot of money. Steam Deck's great still.
Retail looks like about $1,000, so you could make a nice chunk of change.
There you go. There you go. Next email comes from Steve in Kansas City. Dear Bombcast, it's a new year, so I want to start out with a clean conscience. Sent a question in episode 726 that may have stretched the truth to disparage hockey and set BirdKAWlar off on a rant. I just wanted to write to apologize to Dr. Hockey himself. But in fairness, his rants are comedy gold. Loving the podcast and the crew. Keep up the great work. Steve in Kansas City. Thanks, Steve.
Hey,
see.
Thank you, Steve. How you feeling, BirdKAWlar?
I just want everyone to know that like that is not a thing you should actively try and do, right?
Antagonize someone?
Yeah, like let's take a moment and just say like, hey, maybe we don't sort of rock BirdKAWlar's boat.
You know, to be fair, it has only backfired on me because the last time I tried to do it, I was like, yeah, I totally drive while playing Marvel Snap, and that didn't. No one thought that you getting upset was funny, and they just got mad at me. So hey, I think I'm going to live this life now. I'm not going to try to make BirdKAWlar upset.
I never even thought about that. That's pretty selfish of me. No, I just like I don't want to encourage that kind of behavior is what I'm getting at. I mean, I think like some people think like that's a fun thing to do, and you know, maybe we just don't do that, especially when it comes to hockey. It's all I got, folks. It's all I got.
No, you're getting a new thing. We established this early in the show. You're going to become a birder now, so it's fine.
I don't want the birds. I will lose the birds.
No.
Also,
BirdKAWlar is for the birds.
You're for the birds. Yep.
Do you guys remember what the fuck? I mean, that's 50 episodes ago. I don't remember this person.
I can't do math.
No.
But thank you for writing in. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks.
Last email of the show comes from friend Lover. Okay, yeah, let's add that to the thing now.
I think so.
Hi, do you have any good book recommendations? Nathan from Tumwater, Washington. Happy New Year, Nathan.
Happy New Year. Thanks for checking in, Nate.
Appreciate it.
Books. Anyone reading books?
I can't read. I can't read. I have no book recommendations.
Have you tried listening to audiobooks?
No, they put me to sleep.
Reading books now puts me to sleep. That's because my eyes are just out of focus enough that it strains them and it makes me very tired. So I had to switch to audiobooks. Yeah.
I was always convinced that reading a book before you went to bed too closely like emulated like rapid eye movement, and that's why it put you to bed. Like I was convinced that like because your eyes sort of want to go to sleep.
That thesis sounds possible.
Is that a thing?
Sure. I don't know. Listen, I'm no doctor.
I mean,
there's no way to know, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Because of the
no way to
eye
know.
movement, it's replicating, and then you just lull yourself to sleep, and then you.
Like, if I read a book like a book-ass book before I go to bed, I'm done, dude. I can make it through 4 pages before I'm just like, and that's it. I moved on though from my Sudoku guy, by the way, if anyone's wondering. Yeah, I'm now on solo travel. It is a Japanese sort of like tourism, mostly trains like vlog. It's very relaxing. It's really enjoyable. It puts me right to sleep.
Because my partner is a teacher, I wind up reading some of her books. And if you just want to read something out of your realm, perhaps of normal book recommendations, out of sci-fi fiction or whatever, go pick up some shit by Bell Hooks. Bell Hooks is the shit, dog. Or Paulo Freire. There we go. That's right. Teacher, book talk. Also, pay teachers more. Just do
my
it.
God, pay teachers
just
more.
Just fucking do it. You know the shit they gotta deal with? It's not
imagine. Oh,
Your
Preach,
kid might be
Dan.
an angel, but someone else's kid? Jesus Christ. Ugh.
We don't even have to get into it, how obscenely underpaid teachers are. But
Yeah, we did the math, and I'm like, I'd rather you just stay at home rather than teach, because it makes more sense financially for you to stay home. So
it's more of a sunk cost of you going out to teach.
Legit.
BackLAR, you
yeah.
gonna say something?
Yeah, I am reading. I started reading Sandman. I never read it.
Oh, nice.
Mr. Sandman.
The Neil Gaiman
Oh.
run. And it's fucking excellent. So
It's really good. Yeah.
yeah, never did it. Always meant to. Let's go.
I'm reading the new Star Wars books, the High Republic. Yes, very much so, and they're pretty good. That first one's very good. The second big one that I'm reading right now is not quite as good, but it's still entertaining. There's a lot of really horny Jedi in it, which is always exciting. You always want the Jedi to be like, yeah, I am DTF. That's right, down to force, and then also down to fuck.
Is there fucking in Star Wars?
How do you think Luke and Leia came about?
Well, I know, like obviously there's peen and veen, but I'm talking like, is there like do they talk about it in the movies? Like
there in Andor, there was legit basically a sex scene. And it was like, that show's so good that barely anyone even talks about that, because it's like in a bad show they've been like, oh my god, they're putting sex in Star Wars, but it's like, no, that's like, this is normal, and everyone forgot because like all this other cool stuff happened. And then in these books, there's a little bit of it. It's kind of like your typical just characters having romantic times together. It's not like graphic, like throbbing members or anything like that.
Whoa. Okay, I just thought they were like.
Is it disappointing? Okay, well then you're not going to read it. I get it.
I always thought they were like constants in certain fiction, right? Like Batman can't kill anyone. There's no fucking in Star Wars, is what I thought.
As someone in chat just pointed out, the music in Star Wars is called Jizz. Meryl Highchurch. So yeah.
I mean, that's just a coincidence, you know?
That's right.
Unrelated.
Some stuff just happens, just like jazz
George
and jizz.
Lucas did not know what jizz was, yes.
If you had... I'm pretty sure he actually doesn't know what jizz is.
Yeah.
That does it for emails, and that also does it for the show. But if you want to get your email onto the podcast, you can send your emails to bombcast@giantbomb.com. Write about anything. If you got some book recs, I'd love to hear, or I guess read them. Any hypotheticals you want to throw our way, we're more than willing to answer them. What do we got happening for the rest of this week, folks? We got a quick look happening. Just did a quick start for Choo Choo Charles yesterday. That is now up on the site. Chuck, it's Chuck.
It's Chuck.
It's Charles.
You hooligans trying to confuse me. What's happening here? Voicemail dump truck as per usual.
Yes, morning as per usual.
Emily Panic will be joining us for the dump. That should be fun.
That's so exciting.
I'm so ready to get burned and made fun of. And we also
wear a hazmat suit going into that.
We got Unprofessional Fridays as well. Grubb, you feeling good enough for Game Mess mornings?
Yes, I am. We're gonna get back to it tomorrow. Yep,
let's do it.
Yes,
and barring anything catastrophic,
yes,
Thursday, the return of Blight Club, the long-awaited return.
Grubsy 3D will return. Yep,
Grubsy 3D will return. I still think you should play it on that Fun Key S for one episode, Grubb.
Okay, yeah, I'll get the lens out, the telephoto lens.
Oh, you just had that right there. Wow,
of course I do. Of course
hilarious.
I do.
Fantastic. Yep. This is going to throw the audio out of sync, but it doesn't matter because we're going to end the show. Thanks, everybody, for listening to the Giant Bombcast. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jason. And thank you at home. I just wanted to also let you know, looking real nice today. Thing you did over the weekend, it's working, buddy. See you next time.
J unit.
Giant Bombcast is hosted and live produced by Jan Ochoa, with support from Jeff Grubb, Dan Reichert, Jess O'Brien, Lucy James, Timur Hussein, Jason A. Stryker, Matthew Rory, and me, Jeff BirdKAWlar. Our theme music is provided by Tom Monda. Our logo is designed by Dave Schopenek. and you can find him online with the handle @DaveSavedTheDay. Justin Vachon is our sweet little art boy, and thank you so much for listening. Of course, a kiss on the cheek to you at home.